didn't get loose. Like, there are so many things that we can point to when it comes to Logan and his performances. But here's what is true about Logan. He was injured this year. He had some rehab starts and had to battle back and try to find his groove. We've seen almost every pitcher on this staff go through something like that. So just like we were patient with Kirby, just like we were patient with Bryce, even though he had, he's done. You can't look at Logan, and that's what it sets me about that comment from, who was that?
That was Nelson.
Nelson. That's what sets me about it, is that we've seen what Logan can do. He's been the ace on this team the last couple of years. He gets some leeway. He has money in the bank, as my coach used to say. So if I'm seeing him perform in a way he hasn't performed in a couple of years, I'm going to look at all the factors that might factor into that thing. I'm not just going to say, oh, you just have to be better. Yes, you do have to be better. You're getting paid to be better. You are the guy. But he's been great for several years. So let's not jump off the bandwagon and go hard on him. You'd be a horrible coach. Right? If my best player is having a couple of bad games,
cooking everyone,
I'm not on him saying, what the heck are you doing? I'm thinking, all right, how can we get him back to where he used to be? Because he clearly has shown that he can do that. That is horrible. You do not treat Logan that. You better appreciate that, man, because you know what he's going to do? He's going to find his groove and win some ball games, and you'll be back on that bandwagon.
Let's go to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bowden and Stacy.
Headline number one: after missing half of the 2024 season with a hamstring injury, Dak Prescott says he'll be a full go for Cowboys camp at the end of the month. What's the real headline?
This will have no impact on how the Cowboys season ends.
It won't. It's going to end in tragedy.
It will end in heartbreak.
They're going to win 11 games.
And lose in the wild card round.
They're going to have a top 5 offense.
And miss the playoffs.
George Pickens is going to go for 1,100. CeeDee Lamb's going to go for 1,200.
And the defense will give up 40 points
Dak Prescott's going to throw for 35 touchdowns.
Someone will get hurt.
Micah Parsons will have 15 sacks.
15 sacks. And he's going to get his money. He's going to be the highest paid defensive player in the game.
Most listened to podcast.
And you know what's going to happen?
What?
Romeo and Juliet type stuff. Tragedy. I'm talking about Leonardo DiCaprio, Romeo and Juliet type stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's a good remake, yeah.
That's going to be
Who
the
was
Cowboys.
Juliet in that one?
Was it Julia Stiles? No?
Who was Juliet? Who was Juliet? There's no way it was
I see her
Julia
face
Stiles.
right now. Who was it?
Romeo and Juliet.
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes.
That's who.
That's who it is. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number two: Giants catcher Patrick Bailey hit a walk-off inside the park home run to help the Giants beat the Phillies last night. Here is how that chaos sounded.
First and third, one out. Patrick hits a high drive, deep right center field. This one is off the top of the wall, and it ricochets, and it's rolling on the warning track. 2 runs are in. Bailey coming around third. Patrick Bailey scores! It's an inside the park walk-off home run. Now we've seen everything.
What's the real headline?
We have a new entry for most exciting baseball play. Bump.
I was just thinking
back
that.
to the list. Okay, so now that you have walk-off inside the park home run, and I should say it wasn't technically a grand slam, right? It was a 3-run home run.
Right.
Okay, so you knocked in 3 runs, but consider there are other base runners in this situation. Where do you now rank that? With perfect game, no hitter, walk-off grand slam. Here's my question. Is a walk-off inside the park home run that knocks in 3 runs to win cooler than a walk-off grand slam?
We're taking the situation out, right? We're not thinking Game 7 World Series. We're just thinking just to win a game. Just to win a game.
We're talking Tuesday.
It's more dramatic than the Grand Slam to win the game. Because with the Grand Slam, as soon as they make contact, you have an idea if that thing's going to go out or not.
Gone.
Right? With that one, you're waiting. Okay, first. Second base, you're watching the ball bounce around in the outfield. Third base, you're watching the throw. Did he hit the cutoff? Oh, skip the cutoff. He's going home. That might be 2 or 3 for me right now.
I think so. I think we now have, and this is all subjective. There are quite a few people who would prefer to see splash plays in person as opposed to a perfect game. I've never seen a perfect game in person, so I have that as my number one. But I have to agree with you. Walk off inside the park home run that wins the game, like knocks in multiple runs, is unfortunately, and I can't believe I'm saying this, cooler than a walk-off grand slam.
Yeah, if we're not talking World Series Game 7.
Yeah.
Because the thing about I know we're not talking about that, but the thing about World Series Game 7 is that you hit that thing in the trot, and everyone's going crazy. You soak in the moment, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was fun. It gave me a little chills just even listening to it.
Yeah, Curtis, you co-signed that one for us. I feel like we're right there.
Yeah, it was watching the replay of the walk-off inside the park home run last night. Like, it was just insanity going on there. And I love that. I loved watching that play last night. I mean, God, what was it? Alex's stat, the A's had a walk-off, or they had an inside the park home run to lead off their game, and the Giants had one to end their game. That's crazy.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, the Astros lost to Cleveland 10-6 on Tuesday, but the Mariners still have not gained any ground on them since June 8th. It is July 9th.
Goodness
what is
gracious.
the real headline?
I wonder what it's like being God's favorite. You know what I mean? Like, does everyone have that person in your life, or maybe as a sports fan, that team that you look to where you go like, yes, in theory, maybe that person works really hard or works out every day or like puts in a lot of work into having a great life. Or maybe this team has drafted and developed and made exceptional trades and done really good things. But there is an element to jealousy based on what's perceived as luck and fortune. And that's how I feel about the Astros sometimes, where I go, even in what you would consider a down year offensively, not only have you continued to win because your pitching staff has been so much better than everyone expected, but also, even when you lose, the Mariners still lose. It's fortune at that point. It's preparation, it's hard work. It's also just luck. And I hate that feeling. I hate being on the other end of that.
Yeah, there's just something about them. They have that thing, and you can't explain it. There's no metric for it. You can't describe it. It's just, for some reason, things bounce their way constantly. For a while, we can figure out what was helping them, banging on trash cans and all that good stuff. But at this point, it is what it is with the Astros. It's unfortunate we couldn't grab one.
There's one thing you can say about the Mariners heading into the All-Star break, and considering who they were a few years ago, it's actually shocking. That's next.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
It's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
you're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy,
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Planning a road trip? Plan a visit to your neighborhood Bucky's Complete Auto Repair for oil changes, brakes, AC repair, and factory maintenance. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit buckys.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Here's Comedians and Sketchers Getting Comfortable, presented by Hands Free Skechers Slip-Ins.
Hey, I'm Bobby Slayton, and I'm here with my pal, comedian, and Skechers ambassador, Mr. Howie Mandel.
Why did it take so long to invent something as amazing as slip-ins? I know it seems simple, but it took Skechers to invent a better pair of shoes.
Yep, with Skechers slip-ins, you just step it and go. You don't have to touch your shoes. And by the way, slip-ins are for the whole family, men, women, and kids, in all your favorite Skechers styles. Find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot, so it's time to get your grilling on. Pick up the Traeger Pro Series 22 pellet grill and smoker, now on special buy for $389, was $549. Smoke a rack of ribs or bake an apple pie. This grill is versatile enough to do it all. This summer, no matter how you like your steaks, your barbecues are guaranteed to be well done. Celebrate 4th of July with fast free delivery on select grills right now at the Home Depot. Subject to availability.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Who the Mariners are and aren't. It feels a little bit different this year compared to years past, does it not? For instance, I used to say the Mariners are a team with elite pitching. They are not a team with great offense. I don't know that I can say they're a team with great offense this year, but I also can't say they're a team with elite pitching. Things have changed about this team. Feel free to get into the conversation on the text line, 866-979-3776. This was inspired in part because there is one thing I used to truly believe the Mariners were. I thought that it was one of the quirkiest things about them, quietly one of the cooler things about them. But Bump, you noticed there's something they aren't anymore. What is it?
These guys, I love them to death. Julio, love you. Cal, love you. JP and the squad, we love you guys. But they're not a come back type of team, right? You get down 4 or 5 And I feel like they start pressing even more. We already feel like this is a ball club that presses a bit, especially Julio, right? He wants to live up to the expectations. He wants to be the guy. People are chanting his name all the time. I understand that. But once they get down like 4 or 5, I'm thinking this is going to be tough because we just don't see it. It feels like they don't get enough traffic during those times. And if they do get enough traffic, you get to the top of the order, and Julio's grounded out into a double play. We've seen Solano do it as well. He's not at the top of the order, but just memories of always being in these positions and grounding out into double plays and not making it happen. They're just not that type of team anymore. I don't know what it is. Is it mental? Is it the moment getting to them too much? I don't understand it, but that's just who they are. They're not a team that can get down 4 or 5 runs. So you have 3, all right, I can see it. Once you hit that 4 or 5 mark, the belief just leaves me a little bit.
I completely agree. I think my gut says the major thing here at play is pitching. The reason in part, I think, that the Mariners used to be able to be comeback kids is not only that kind of the narrative started and then we saw it that way, but it's also because you used to be able to limit opponents to 2-3 runs. Well, hey, all of a sudden you get 2 runners on, maybe Julio knocks in a couple or Cal comes up for a big moment, and oh my God, it's a walk-off grand slam against the White Sox, and you've won because you only needed 4 runs to win that game. Or maybe you can make up any deficit because you're not in that much of a hole to begin with. With the pitching being what it is this year, which is a little more up and down. And granted, yesterday we said it had been better, so I don't want to veer away and from some point that we had. I do think it can improve. I'm going to stick with that point. It didn't look great yesterday. So you don't see that as much. It doesn't feel like they can dig their way out of a 7-run deficit. Granted, no team is most of the time teams aren't going to be able to, but it used to feel like they could always be in it up until the bottom of the 9th at home because the pitching was that elite. So I agree with you. It's like there's this kind of we're going to punch you in the mouth when you're least expecting it, where the comeback kids flavor that's gone.
So I looked up, and I don't know how reliable this website is, but it says that the Mariners have 23 comeback wins this year. That puts them at like 11 or 12 in MLB. But I need more context. Is it like 1-0?
Oh, they used to have an unreal record in 1-run games. It used to be crazy.
I need a stat from down 4 runs. How many games have they come back to win? I'm going to have to do my own research because the Google machine is not working for me right now. But I think that's a result of just the inconsistencies when it comes to the bats, right? Randy has cooled off a little bit, right? He went 0 for this game. Jorge started off the season just amazing, and as of late, he was doing okay. He cooled off a little bit. Cal's been the only consistent. Cal and JP have been the only 2 consistent sticks on this baseball team. And if you want to be a team that has the most comeback wins, guess who has the most comeback wins in the league right now?
It better not be the Astros.
No, it's not the Astros.
Okay, who is it?
Astros are 3rd.
Yankees?
No,
they
it's the
wouldn't have
Dodgers.
fallen behind
Dodgers, 34 comeback wins. And why? Because you go like 1 through 6 with that lineup, and you're going to get contributions. So I think that's just another way of looking at this lineup and reaffirming that they just need a little more pop, a little more consistency, because once you get down, and as an athlete, let's be 100, right? When I was playing, we'd go down 3 touchdowns, and I feel what the game is like. We ain't winning this game. We're going to go hard. I'm going to keep swinging. We're going to keep trying to drive the football down the field. But we get down 3 scores to SC, it's a wrap. It's over. Even a lesser team, Oregon at the time, it's a wrap. It's over. And as athletes, you feel that as well. I'm not saying they're getting to the batter's box and just give it up and saying, oh, well, you just know how hard it is to come back, especially when you're playing against a team like the Yankees or the Dodgers or even the Astros at this point. That's the reality of the situation. So they feel it too. And once you feel that, now you start to play hero ball is what we call it. Now you're swinging for the fences. Now I'm trying to catch a football, a route that takes me 5 yards. I'm trying to make everybody miss it and get 20, 25 out of it when, I stand no chance. So there's an emotional aspect to it as well when you look at what your team has been capable of throughout the season.
Now, I know that we're starting off on a note that almost sounds bad. It doesn't have to be. It's just we're figuring out who this team is and isn't. It's July 9th. I mean, we're heading into a series and a half here before the All-Star break. If we talk about what this team is, so if they're no longer like comeback kids, and again, this is also based on just like a feeling of like, in my memories of like walk-off, wins and just kind of these improbable. It wasn't just comebacks. It was these improbable wins of winning by 1 run when you're down too late kind of games. However, they are a team that has cut down on their strikeouts. That is better overall offensively than they have been. They are a team with an MVP candidate. And I think they are a team capable of getting to the playoffs.
Yep.
I think all of that's true. It hasn't always been true about this team. I think it is this year.
Yeah. It's maybe the last 3 years we felt like they're capable of getting to the playoffs.
Yes.
But I think that this one feels a bit different because you see how explosive they can be, and you think
how weak the rest of
if you could just stay there,
Yep.
you'll be okay because the division isn't great at this point. But then they let you down. With the other teams, it was okay. This is a gritty type of team that all they need is a chance. You know, they're winning these 1-run games or whatnot. I looked up most the best record when there's 1 run that separates each teams, right? The Mariners are 19-43 in 1-run games this year.
No.
19-43, unless the machine is just telling me lies.
I feel like Buddy the Elf. That's shocking.
Yeah, it is shocking, right? You got the Giants who, I mean, no one really has a great record when it comes to that, but
The Mariners used to.
Yeah, they used to. They're 19-43, so they're down a bit. They have to, but it comes down to what we've all been saying, right?
Yeah.
Who's clutch? They have to be clutch.
When you get to 7, 8, 9, bottom of the ninth,
Yeah.
how much faith? If Cal Raleigh's up and you've got a runner on and you're down 2, more often than not, I'm going, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
He's the only one that I feel that way.
Exactly. But if it's, and this is no disrespect to these guys. In fact, Young got on base late in yesterday's
Yeah,
game.
he did.
But if it's, Young, Williamson, and like a pinch hitting Dylan Moore, I'm not feeling quite as confident. I think that you're exactly right. Your point about the Dodgers earlier, or like the teams that are great in those moments, are the teams that have fewer question marks 1 through 9.
Yeah, it's talent-based, and just consistency. And I think there's talent on this team. They're young. The bottom of the order is young. Believe it or not, Julio is still young. So they got some things to work out. If they can start winning some of these close games, they'll be okay. And honestly, I know we got to go, but I'm not really tripping off of yesterday's game. One of those games. This is the second game this year where they just lost, got blown out, to where I'm looking at it and say, I'm not really tripping off of this game. Let's see how they bounce back.
All right. We are going to get back to the Mariners coming up at 11 with Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. Before we get to that, though, you don't have to be a baseball expert or a football expert to understand exactly what Bump is talking about next. You just have to be willing to be a little angry. Don't go anywhere.
This summer, the Mariners take over Atlanta with the All-Star Fantastic Four.
Holy smokes!
Andres.
99 crackles over the corner. Brian Wu has retired 13 Yankees in a row. Julio Rodriguez dives and he makes the catch.
And Cal.
Number 34 for the big number.
Congratulations to the Mariners All-Star 4 from the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. I want you to get on I-5, go north, take your time, and get up on exit 260. That's where you'll find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great place to get away, to recharge, and get your mind right. You can go visit some of their comfortable rooms. They're spacious. They have free Wi-Fi, and they have tablets as well. They also have a bunch of restaurants that you will enjoy like I did. You go to the steakhouse, cantina, and when you want to watch some sports, go to Porter's Bay Sports Bar. The vibes are good. The TVs are everywhere. You will enjoy it. And if you're a golfer like me, Loomis Trails Golf Course, 18 holes with water almost everywhere. It's a good situation. And this month, you can win $10,000 almost every Saturday with a grand prize of $50,000. They also have some events coming up. You got Neil McCoy on July 26th. Book your tickets at Silver Reef Casino. Get on I-5, go north, exit 260. That's where you'll find Silver Reef Casino. It's not a secret anymore.
Summer is here, and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors, expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy-efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates, and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
Upgrade your view and comfort with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Buy one window or door, get the second at 50% off through July, and enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. For details, visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacy Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at WOISeattle.org. That's WOISeattle.org.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us.
We get notifications every time we get a review. And I said, how do you not let it eat you up? Sometimes I feel so responsible. And his answer was, I just look at it as an opportunity. We need that feedback to learn and to do better. I'm grateful for the feedback.
Big part of sales is the relationship aspect. People want to do business with someone they can trust, who's a real person. They don't feel like you're just going after their money. And when you take the time to get to know them, get to know their needs, not be a car salesman, but be a consultant, then they feel more comfortable with you, and just the experience is better on both sides.
It's not about closing deals. It's about opening relationships, helping people make the right choice. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Every Wednesday at 10:45, one of our absolute favorite segments. I laugh every time. Bump's got 3 things really grinding his gears, just really ticking him off, and he's ready to tell us about them. Bump, it's time for Get Off My Lawn. What you got?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
First, big ups to the text lines. You know, they always hold you accountable.
They sure do.
The stat that I found, I'm not going to put the website out there because you set me up for failure about the one-run games. Sounds like it isn't accurate. So text lines have a couple things, 19 and 12. Another one says like 20-something and whatever. So text lines, you do your thing, good job. But let's get into what's grinding my gears today. All right, get off my lawn.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I like
That's
starting
great
it
right
with
there.
"Get Off
I
My
just
Lawn."
played it.
I know. But your timing was impeccable.
You said great job.
That was a good job.
You don't
All
have
right.
to get off Bump's lawn today.
No, not today.
You can
I'd
stay
like Bump
there.
to get off my lawn right now, I think.
I was trying to show you some love. Matter of fact,
Just
get
accept the
off my
compliment.
lawn.
Accept the
Get off my
compliment,
lawn.
Matt.
Gosh, darn it.
Oh my God! Can we start?
All right, yeah, we're starting. All right, first one.
I'm 40.
Perfect.
Matt?
Perfect. You're really doing it today, Matt. You're awesome. The first one, all right? I love going to bars and watching games. I love talking to people about sports. Even if I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me, it's awesome. All right, that's part of this whole sports debate type of thing. But it really irks me when people just expect athletes to be machines. Expect athletes just to go out and put great performances on every single day in, day out, week in and week out. They want perfection. So I'm sitting there for some of the Yankees game, and I went to this random Mexican restaurant in Redmond while my kids were practicing. And there's a guy. Now, he's not talking to me. He's talking to his boy. Sometimes when I go to restaurants, I just put my headphones on, and I listen to the game while watching it, right? And he's yelling at everybody. Why would you swing at that pitch? And then you look at the box because it was in the zone. That's why he swung at it. It was in the zone. He didn't execute. Now, if you're mad about the execution, then okay, we can get that. But especially in baseball, you are going to fail. If you are 30% in any other sport, you are kicked out of the league. 30% in baseball, you might get your butt into the Hall of Fame. You are going to fail. And also, all right, it irks me that people think that routines aren't real. Like, things don't affect your day as an athlete, especially baseball players. Like, if I don't use the restroom at the same time, do my plyos at the same time, it does something to your body, does something to your brain. And I think that contributes to some of the ups and downs that we see when it comes to performances. The guys who perfect their routine, you look at like the Steph Currys, you look at the Tiger Woods or whatnot. There's a reason why they're so consistent, because they have a routine that works and they're great. Let's not forget that. There's only been a few just really almost dang near perfect performances in sports that I found. You got Jared Goff last year, 18 for 18 against the Hawks, 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sean Green in 2002 baseball, 6 for 6 with 4 home runs. You got Johnny Burnett back in 1932, had a 9-hit game and had 19 total bases. I'm just saying, it was 8. I think it was like 18 innings though. They went deep. But I'm just saying, it's like when I listen to some people talk, you have your opinion or whatnot, but the expectation of perfection from athletes is not realistic. You will drive yourself crazy if you expect perfection. Can you expect clutch moments? Yes. Can you expect them to match the back of their baseball card? For sure. But perfection, it just ain't real. I was reminded yesterday, and it was kind of irking me a little bit, because I'm thinking, man, you couldn't throw a grape into the ocean. And you sitting there talking horribly about these dudes. Man, I get they lost 10-3, but goodness gracious, get off my lawn, that guy at that restaurant.
What's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I don't like it. I hate it, actually, when fans boo when a pitcher tries to pick off the runner at first base. Why are you booing? It's part of the game. If the pitcher gets the guy at first base, now everyone's happy, you're clapping, everyone's good to go. It's always on the road. Boo! Why are you throwing it to first base? Because he steals bases and he got a big lead. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw it to first base. I'm going to try to get him out. I just don't understand it. I heard it yesterday when Logan threw to first base. I'm like, why are you booing? This is literally part of the game. He's not breaking any rules. He's not breaking any protocol. That guy steals bases. He has a big lead. I'm going to make him think about stealing this base. And you know what? And yesterday, Cal got to do, too. It threw out Chisholm, I believe, at second base. It's like, this is part of the game. The fact that home fans get so worked up when a pitcher throws it to first base, this blows my mind. Like it's a cardinal sin or whatnot. I don't understand that. Please stop doing it. I know you're still going to do it. And if I'm at the Mariners game and the opposing pitcher throws at first base, I'm going to just clap for him. Like, yeah, you're supposed to. That guy got 15 bags this year.
Can you imagine? Check him.
You're supposed to. You got 15 bags. You ain't supposed to make life easy for him. Go and try to get that dude out, man. I'm not mad at you at all.
It is a smart thing to do to keep those runners in check, especially really aggressive runners. I don't boo. However, I have 2 theories. One, low stakes booing can be kind of fun. I would never boo, like if I were a Mariners fan and Jorge Polanco, like last year, like Jorge Polanco comes to the plate, strikes out, he's having a bad year. I am not one, I'm not going to shame anyone for doing it, but I am not one to boo in that instance because it feels like piling on and it feels weird. I just don't like it.
I don't think I've ever booed at a game.
But low stakes booing is booing for something that feels harmless.
Yeah.
So, because booing in general can be kind of fun, right? You're like getting riled up. So I see booing someone trying to pick off a runner as low stakes booing. You're not actually hurting anyone's feelings.
Yeah.
You're peer pressuring in a healthy way.
And 425 says it's a tradition. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
Low stakes booing.
It still doesn't sit right with me.
Right.
Still don't sit right with me.
Okay, what's last?
Come on, man. All right, this one's for parents and kids.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
It's summertime. You know what that means? Kids ain't going to school. And I was looking at my son the other day, and I was like, man, I remember summertime. He's like, what do you mean? It still is summertime. I go, but your summertime is different from my summertime. You stay up all night playing video games. I got to be asleep at a certain times. I got to get up. And kids, this is for the kids out there. Parents, if you let your kids stay up. Now, I let my kids stay up later than they would, obviously, during school because, they got to get up and do their thing. If you don't have a game or a practice, I'll let you game until midnight. Go ahead and do your thing. But kids out there, if your parents let you game until midnight and you're snacking, pick up after your dang self, all right? So I woke up in the morning. I got fruit snacks wrappers over here. I got an empty bottle over there. My pillows are all jacked up. Controllers are everywhere. Why is your gaming system in my living room? You got a room with your brother. You go ahead and play the game in your room. It's just if you are going to game, your parents give you that privilege to game all night, which I get it. I used to be up until like 2 o'clock in the morning during summertime. You must clean up after yourselves. I woke up this morning, 5 o'clock, going to the gym, and I'm picking up after my son, and I almost want to wake him up because now he's laying there looking all sweet, and he's sleeping all snuggly, and I'm looking at him like, you just jacked up my whole living room right now, dog. And I told you before I went to sleep, just pick up after yourself, and we all good. So you know what? One last hour tonight playing video games. Pick up after yourself, all right? Not 12, you get 11. You might get 11:15 if I come home and them dishes are done, all right? Pick up after yourselves.
No. For the rappers? A whole hour?
Whole hour.
Oh, wow.
They're drinking like Mountain Dew.
Drinking? Nah, heck no. I don't let my kids drink soda. They'd be crazy if I let them drink. They'll be up till 4 o'clock. They drinking Mountain Dew.
One MLB expert thinks there's something we're all overlooking when it comes to Julio's all-star selection. That's next.
He's the southpaw from down under. Ryan Roland Smith with Wyman and Bob.
What was your reaction to Julio making the All-Star squad?
Julio going to the All-Star game is nothing but great. It's good for his confidence. I would say J.P. Crawford had a bigger case at shortstop than Julio did at center field to make the All-Star game. When you have a leadoff hitter with the on-base that he has, I thought J.P. had a bigger case.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're here 24/7, 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Being the new kid in high school is hard. I didn't know if I would be accepted or if I'd fit in, because being known is key to who we are. Hi, I'm Peyton Seal. When I first came to King Schools, I knew something was different. My teachers cared about me. I have community. I'm learning who God called me to be.
Sign up for a tour today, and if you enroll, just mention this ad and pay no application fee. Visit joinkings.org for more info. That's joinkings.org. Building resilient disciples of Christ through Christian education for 75 years.
Hey, Mike Salk here with some exciting news from a family-owned business that's local here in Western Washington. Yeah, we love to root for these guys. It's Riverside Roofing, and they've once again earned the prestigious GAF Master Elite President's Club. Well, that puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers in the nation. So you might remember I've been talking about only 3% of roofing companies nationally qualify for GAF Master Elite status. But how many of those achieve President's Club? Well, that's only 2%. Truly the cream of the crop. Proudly from Marysville and serving homeowners all over Western Washington, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. So what does that mean for you, the homeowner? Well, it means you're hiring the best. A company that gets high marks in performance, reliability, and service, plus an elite warranty to match. Highly reviewed and highly recommended, certainly by me. Riverside Roofing is your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now and get that roof done fast. I highly recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Are you road trip ready? Bucky's Complete Auto Repair will make your car safe and dependable with expert service and old-fashioned care. Brakes, oil change, factory service, and more. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Bucky's.com.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
The countdown is on.
14 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners fell to the Yankees yesterday, but Cal Raleigh still made history with his 36th home run, the most for any Mariner before the All-Star break. That broke Ken Griffey Jr.'s record. Logan Evans on the mound today for Game 2. It's another 4:05 p.m. start in the Bronx, 3 p.m. pregame show right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Joined now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline by Yahoo Sports, Jordan Shusterman. And Jordan, we want to talk about Cal. We're going to talk about the rest of this Yankees series and the upcoming one against the Tigers for the Mariners. But before we do, I was listening to Baseball BarbieCast, and you guys were talking about the All-Star nominations and noting that some of these are player nominated. And you said, look, Julio was a controversial one, but there has to be something to be said for getting that many player votes. I thought it was an interesting point. What did you make of Julio's All-Star nod?
Yeah, I think it was interesting. I think you can kind of read a lot and a little into the player selected all-stars because on one hand, it's like, wow, that's clearly, reflective of how his peers view him. And again, we sort of speculated this on the show, but I think timing is also important. And I really don't know how long ago this was voted on, but also in Julio's case, I mean, let's be real. It's not like he has been a consistent offensive force earlier in the season. Maybe he's, that with the OPS dropping into the 600s, I think it stands out. But I don't know. I also think that it shows how much respect he's earned from his peers. I do think that it's like he is still viewed as like, well, yeah, of course, like Julio's an all-star. And that also probably means that they're not paying as close attention to what his OPS is, and that's fine, but that's part of the process, and that's how he ends up an all-star. And I think on total value, if you look at WAR and stuff like that, yeah, he's still been one of the best players in the league, and it's also a pretty weak AL outfield crop, all things considered, and I think that contributed to it as well.
Hey, we're trying to figure out what's going on with Logan. He hasn't gone deeper than 5 innings this year. Obviously, he got banged up earlier in the season. Was it the delay yesterday? Was it his arm? What are you seeing out of him? I looked at his numbers. The velocity's down just a little bit, but nothing too concerning. What's your take on Logan and what we're seeing out of him?
Yeah, it's definitely been, it's good to see him coming back. I mean, that injury was pretty scary, and I think people were definitely fearing a lot worse. I'm glad you mentioned the velocity there, because I think that is also something that unfortunately we saw with Bryce Miller, where the velocity was kind of fine, but it just wasn't quite right. And I think in Logan's case, with the time that he missed, still kind of shaking it off, we have to hope and assume that he is in good enough physical condition to continue and be a part of this rotation moving forward. But it's also not unreasonable to think that he's still not at his best, whether that's from just a sharpness standpoint or physically compromised, even if it's in a subtle way. I think that can make a difference. And it's not a fun thought, but I also think that it's not always as simple as is his velocity okay? There's a lot of other things that go into what makes pitchers great. And when you're coming off an injury like that, I don't think it's a small thing to just expect, or I don't think it's realistic to expect him to just click right back into it, unfortunately.
Jordan, I think there are a lot of Mariners fans who would love to see a familiar face, Suarez, back here in Seattle. He was beloved when he was here, a fan favorite, and is also raking with Arizona. 2 questions for you. Do you think Arizona will trade Gino, and do you think they should?
Yeah, I mean, Arizona is really tough, and they are certainly on those handful of teams that as we look towards the deadline and we say, all right, like, are you in or out here? Because I think, if they were in the American League, I'm sure they could tell themselves, no, we still got a chance. None of these teams are very good, but it's a little bit more crowded in the NL. I still feel like that front office is not quite wired to go in the other direction, but they're also not stupid, and they understand with the roster construction that they have, with the number of pending free agents that they have, it would be a little weird to kind of go half measures. Now, you could say, oh, maybe it's easier for them to replace a Suarez in the short term and with a guy like Jordan Lawler. I know he's been dealing with some injuries, than it would be to replace, trading several of their pitchers. But I don't know. To me, either they're going to go for it or they are going to trade, 3 or 4 guys. And I still think it's too early to tell whether that's which direction they're going.
If Gino were to rejoin this ball club, obviously he'll be at third base. He's a good glove, a solid bat. What happens with Williamson? Because he's putting together a decent rookie campaign.
Yeah, I mean, I think people would understand that it would be a temporary thing. I don't think it's like, all right, Gino's back forever. And I think in the case of Williamson, he has acquitted himself quite well. But also it would be a very straightforward, like, listen, you still have not played very much minor league baseball. And for as much as he's given the team, over these last few months in a very impressive way, sending him back to AAA to continue to work on stuff is not unreasonable. You could also argue, does he make, and I would guess that would be the case if they do acquire a third baseman, just because he's someone they do believe is a big part of their long-term plans, and having him get only a handful of at-bats a week is not necessarily best for his development. He needs to be playing and seeing as much pitching as possible. So I don't think that would be he's been impressive within the context of what they're asking of him, but it's not like he's a bat that you can't take out of the lineup. I mean, Suarez would obviously be a huge upgrade, and so I think sending it back to AAA in the scenario where they get a clear-cut third baseman is not the worst thing in the world.
How did Cal become Barry Bonds? Seeing him, I mean, not literally, obviously, if that's the conversation, really, maybe we should be talking about Aaron Judge. But Cal hitting his 36th home run is a new franchise record for the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners have not had a lot of bats like this. So here in Seattle, Jordan, I just want to add additional context, as you know, that it's just kind of crazy to see anytime you have a national story at all or someone breaking records at all, it's a big deal. So on the one hand, Cal's had seasons prior to this of leading all catchers in home runs. On the other, I'm fascinated by the minor adjustments you can make that lead to such monumental payoff.
Yeah, and I've talked about it a little bit on here in past weeks, but yeah, he is so good at getting the ball in the air. But again, I mean, the part we talk about Aaron Judge and why he's still so far ahead in the MVP conversation, that's because he's hitting 360. But let's not overlook Cal hitting 268. I mean, that is an astonishing thing. It's not just that he, has already passed his career high in homers, but he only had 16 doubles all of last year. He's got 16 this year. Mm-hmm. So there's other parts of his game and just the batting average where we were all ready to accept that, like, yeah, he's probably never, gonna hit above 230 or 240, and that's fine if he's hitting 330 homers, and that was true. But now the strikeouts are going down. The strikeouts rate is now below 25%. He's, of course, walking more than ever. Now, that has to do with how he's swinging. Of course, it's not just a impressive approach. I mean, teams are at this point just genuinely scared of him, as they should be. But, like I said, he has the power and is getting the ball in the air, especially to the pull side, better than anybody else in the sport.
I think one of the things that fans look at is how Dan Wilson kind of manages a game. You have that rain delay. You go back inside for about an hour. Logan's doing his best to stay warm. He was about 70 pitches in or whatnot. The text line is about 70-30 people saying, I don't think Logan should have been out there. Granted, the Yankees put their starter back out there as well. What do you say to Dan's decision to let Logan go out there and try to finish an inning or two?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I'd probably lean a little bit more towards he shouldn't be out there. You just had an off day. Like, the bullpen should be fresh. I would also argue this in the context of going to Legumina in that spot. There's been a few moments this season where the game is maybe close. And listen, I know Legumina's had his moments, but there seem to have been moments where they just kind of let the game slip away with one pitcher who clearly is not having it, as opposed to trying to continue to pitch with a chance to come back. And especially when the offense has, of course, been better. I know there have been in years past where it's like, okay, they're down by 4, the game's over. That's not the case anymore. And so it's been a little bit disappointing sometimes, putting out maybe some of the lower leverage relievers in some bigger spots and then just kind of letting them wear it for seemingly no reason. That was a little bit frustrating. As for Logan, yeah, an hour rain delay is tough. I think different teams view it differently, and teams know their guys better than ever. Now, I think most pitchers are going to try to fight to go back out there, but I think that's probably a situation where you go to the pen after the delay.
I have the hardest time, Jordan, just gauging how much control, impact a manager has in today's game. And we have these like legacy managers that we assume have a lot of control, but it's certainly not the majority of managers. It doesn't have to be a particular name that comes to mind, or perhaps it is. But is there a guy around a league or a prototype where you think, God, when I look at a team that's doing really well, this is when I take the manager into account, because it does make a difference?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I've gone back and forth with this. I had to think about this a lot last year when I had a vote for NL Manager of the Year, and I went with Pat Murphy like everyone else did, but I don't know, like, and here we are again. The Brewers are kind of surging again, and are maybe going to get back into the mix here. And that one, from a narrative standpoint, just really stood out, right? You assume, oh, they lose Craig Counsell, he's the best manager in baseball, he's getting this record contract, and then what happens, right? The Cubs fall on their face, and the Brewers are awesome. And was it all because of the managers? Probably not, but there's something to be said about that. I don't know. It really is hard, and I still struggle with it. I think the managers that stand out are the ones that seem to have a very clear alignment with their organization. And I think I bring up that word partially in joking reference to the Red Sox, who used their word alignment a lot in their post-Rafael Devers trade press conference. But I also mention that because Alex Cora is
Oh, oops. Let's see if we can get reconnected with Jordan there. Oh no, it was a cliffhanger. I appreciated that Jordan's answer was in part, because this is what I always think about Dan. It's what I thought about Scott. It's really hard to define what makes a really great manager. You don't know what every person's role is going to be. There is a lot that is never disclosed, much less to fans, but not even to reporters, about how decisions are made and who's making the decisions. And yet, you can't exclude the manager from your conversations about what makes a good team. So we'll get reconnected with Jordan here and continue that conversation about Cora and about managers. But I think it's just, I don't want to forget to include Dan Wilson in our conversation, much like we included Service about our conversation with teams this year. Jordan, do we have you back?
I have no idea what happened. Oh, I'm back.
Yay. Okay. You were talking about Alex Cora, and we're just going to let you continue.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just, again, like Alex Cora is someone who I think the league views as a pretty good manager, but clearly there have been situations recently where he is not on the same page as the Boston Red Sox front office. And so, we're going to see a team like the Tigers this weekend. Like, that's a team where it is very clear that AJ Hinch is on the same page with his front office, and how that whole team and roster operates is very much funneled through the way that AJ Hinch wants to do things. And I think that that's a great example of that.
I assume you've heard the potential trade proposal for Acuna, right? I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, it'd be nice. You're only paying, $17 million for the next couple of years. You're going to give up the farm for this dude. And a dream of mine, of course, would be to acquire Acuna. I don't think it's going to go down. What do you think it would take to get him, and how unlikely is it that the Mariners have that in play?
I think the simplest way to put it is that the Mariners are indeed the team best positioned to do this, and it is not going to happen. So if you want, they are. If someone was to put together a realistic proposal for Ronald Acuna, that would be one of the first teams you would pick to do it. That said, I think for as catastrophic as this year has been for Atlanta, trading Acuna is basically the only thing. Like, if you had to pick something that would make the Braves fans more mad, because at this point they're so angry,
livid.
Rightfully so, and they could trade probably literally anybody else, and I think the fans would be like, yeah, screw that guy, get him out of here. I think Acuna is not that. He's the only one where I don't really see any way in which that would be a positive move for the short term or long term, and certainly from a PR perspective in the midst of a very, very, very bad season for them.
You know what's so funny about that, though, and I apologize that this isn't straight a question and it's more of just a back and forth, but it's making me think of this, is I agree with you, and I'm sure Bump agrees with you too, that we're both like, yeah, we'd make the move, you'd love to see it happen, but it's not going to happen. And the reason that I think both of us have at least enjoyed talking about it is it's just a hypothetical about valuing prospects over major league talent, and kind of the balance of, as fans, I would imagine of any team, you tend to not only prioritize your own players, but value your own players. And Jordan, I can't tell you how many responses I've seen. I would say it's 40-60 against trading away those prospects. So there's still a majority of Mariners fans who are absolutely throw in whoever, I don't care. But do you find, I'm just curious about what you think about the phenomenon that we just have in general of not understanding the very obvious value of a proven asset in the big league level, and instead looking at only potential. You have never seen Laz Montez swing a bat in a major league game, and yet we're like, well, I don't know about that one.
No, you're spot on. And I think about this all the time, every deadline, the way that fans, and even in the offseason, fans throwing around these trade proposals and everyone being like, no way. There's no way I'm giving up this 18-year-old an A-ball. And it's like, do you want to win major league games or not? This is part of it. And by the way, especially in Seattle's case, part of the reason why I maintain they should be so aggressive with this is that they're about to add a whole other wave of awesome draft picks. And when you're this good at drafting and developing, you're going to replenish. And no, it's not fun to watch some of these other players go on and become good players, but they haven't been burned that much yet. And I feel like, as I mentioned, Brody Hopkins is going to be in the futures game. I think he's going to be a pretty good pitcher. Are you enjoying watching Randy Arozarena or not? I mean, that's the whole thing, right? So you got to give to get, and I think that they are a team positioned to give some guys away. And yeah, it's of course you want to dream on what could be, and the homegrown guys always kind of carry additional sentimental value.
Sure.
I totally get that. But still, I mean, some of these guys have been in the system for a year or two, and people are like, nope, can't do it. Nope, don't, absolutely not, wouldn't touch it. And I'm like, all right, well, probably not going to get the deal done then. But I do think that the Mariners understand that you do have to give to get, and I think that if the right player becomes available, they're going to be willing to do so.
I agree. He is Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. Check out Baseball BarbieCast, and obviously check out his work at yahoosports.com. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, you heard an argument on a show this morning. What was it, and where do you stand?
So this is going to combine football and baseball.
Okay.
So I forgot what show I was listening to this morning. It was on like a national show, I believe. And the question was, can an average fan have a better chance of catching a pop-up or a punt return?
I love this question.
And I've done both. Obviously, I haven't done it at the professional level for baseball, but for football. And the hardest thing to do in football, in my opinion, is to field a punt. Because you got to kick the ball. You're looking to see where the ball's headed. Now, you're checking to see if your blocking is going to be okay. There's a game you're playing. You're like, ball coverage. And then you have to make a decision and hope that your decision sticks and you don't get lit the F up. When it comes to pop-ups, I understand it as well, because I feel like a pop-up baseball is in the air longer than a football. Football is like 3.5 to 4.5 seconds, something like that. I don't know what the time is with the pop-up. Then I heard the argument back and forth is, well, in baseball, you're aided by a glove. And I go, oh, that's true. Well, they say in football, you can use 2 hands. I go, oh, that's true as well. In football, the ball has more opportunity to move just because of the way that it's shaped. The wind takes it and can push it. With a baseball, it's round, and you kind of know how it's going to feel when you catch it. I've caught punts where it's end over end, where it's spinning one way, where it's a knuckleball and it drops. So naturally, me being a football player, I'm going to say catching a punt return is harder than catching a pop-up. But I'd like to hear what you guys think.
I agree. I think that hitting a baseball is one of the hardest, like thrown by a professional pitcher is one of the hardest things you could do, but agree that catching a kickoff, a punt is just harder in general. I think most of the things in football that can sometimes look easy to us are incredibly difficult to do in real life. I did a charity event one time where there are hundreds of people going through here, hundreds of Seahawks fans. And it was like a field day essentially. And one of them was catching punts from one of the little punt machines.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I saw a single person catch it. Like, it would knock people over. Like, they'd try to catch it and fall over, or it would hit them in the head, or like, it's so much harder than you think. And I am talking about hundreds of fans going through. And I haven't seen the equivalent of this for like baseball.
I have. You know, with the Mariners, when they do the
pregame
fans,
stuff and they give
catch
like
it
a
with
lawn
random
chair.
things. I've seen people catch it with catch a pop-up with random things. So it's I don't know, it's interesting because they're both hard. It ain't easy.
So that's what I'm saying. So many of these things are sneaky difficult. Like the Seahawks, I don't know if they've done this under Mike McDonald, but they used to do this thing, and many teams have done this, where it's like, okay, if you guys kick a field goal, exactly. Like and we're talking professional athletes already, they'll go through 20 guys before a single guy gets close. Yeah. It's like things that you think are easy are not. They never are.
It was tough, and I heard great arguments for both sides.
Yeah.
And I think it's split 50-50. They're going to put out a poll. Let's see if I can find it and see what the poll says.
Second down. What have you learned about Sean McVay that changes the way you view him?
I think Sean McVay is a great coach. I think he's a beautiful football mind. But listening to the way that Jared Goff got released kind of bugged me a little bit. There was no warning. This young man took you to a Super Bowl, and you didn't give him the heads up. You literally called him to say the trade was already going down, and he was blindsided. So that leads me to believe that Cooper Kupp went through the same thing, because he didn't want to talk about how that Sean McVay deal, him being released, happened with the Rams. So as great as Sean McVay is, it's almost like, look, you got 3 players who you coach who affected your franchise the most. You got Aaron Donald, Jared Goff, and Cooper Kupp. They affected your franchise the most while you were there. Aaron Donald decided to retire. That's easy. But the other 2, I'm assuming with Cooper Kupp, because he felt like he didn't want to talk about it, I'm assuming that Cooper Kupp had the same experience that Jared Goff had. That's not the way you do it. Those are your franchise guys. You give them the heads up, hey, man, we're looking to shop you around. This is the direction we want to go. Just giving you the heads up. The fact that Jared Goff just got a phone call saying you're already gone, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't think Sean McVay's a bad person. I think that he's handled those situations poorly, though.
Third down. What primetime game, not including the Seahawks, are you anxious to see?
Man, I cannot wait. Week 6, Monday Night Football, October 13th, you have Chicago against the Washington Commanders. Because now I think Caleb is thinking, I got a squad now. They went and got me an offensive line. I got some receivers coming back. We got a run game. And I'm looking at Jane Daniels and saying, can you repeat it? I was listening to a show this morning again, and someone said that Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC. So let's see what that matchup is going to look like. The Washington Commanders are the RPO kings. They do a great job running those RPOs. Actually, I think it was Brock and Salk. Actually, I think Brock said this. RPO champions. But I think that Chicago is ready to put up a better fight. I'm not sure if they make the playoffs or not, but I know Caleb is going to be better. And I got to see if Jaden Daniels can back this up. Week 6, October 13th, Monday Night Football is going to be crazy.
Fourth down. What's part of the Seahawks that needs to improve?
We've talked about the offensive line all day. Can Sam Darnold handle the pressure? What's the receiving core going to look like? We're confident with the defense, but we don't talk about special teams enough, especially the return game. Like, you need a good returner in this game. A good returner is not going to take many touchdowns to the house. If you look at last year, you had 6 punt returns to the house. You're looking at kick returns. You had 8 returns to the house. But it's about total yards. How many yards can you accumulate? You got Turpin, who just got into some trouble. Hope good luck with all that. Had 904 yards, total return yards, best in the game. We look at the Lions. You had Caleb Raymond, who had 413 yards. It's just about shifting the field. Now, Jalen Darden, who we got from the Cleveland Browns, I believe, had himself a decent year, 309 yards combined when you look at Cleveland and Seattle. But if you can get a returner, an exciting returner who is up there in the top 5 when it comes to kickoff return yards and punt return yards, that's just less field for your offense to work with. We're talking about what the offense needs to do. Give them a shorter field. Defense cause turnovers. Returners move that ball. You help your offense out. Less pressure on these guys.
I am telling you right now, you listening, that you might disagree with us sometimes, or, maybe you were listening to Brock and Salk and, you were like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, whatever it was, sometimes you listen to sports radio and you don't agree with a take. I promise you, the take that you're going to hear next is the dumbest take you will hear today. That's next.
This summer, the Mariners take over Atlanta with the All-Star Fantastic Four.
Holy smokes!
Andres.
99 crackles over the corner. Ryan Wu has retired 13 Yankees in a row. Julio Rodriguez dives and he makes the catch.
And Cal.
Number 34 for the big dumper.
Congratulations to the Mariners All-Star 4. From the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. hotels, Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Upgrade your view and comfort with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Buy one window or door, get the second at 50% off through July, and enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. For details, visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Collectors, Front Row Car Show is returning to Tacoma. Join us at the Greater Tacoma Convention Center on July 12th and 13th. Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus collectibles such as Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. Beckett, CGC, and JSA will be there. So bring your cards, comics, and autographs to sell, trade, or get them graded. More than 400 tables, thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it. Front Row Card Show, Greater Tacoma Convention Center, Saturday and Sunday, July 12th and 13th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com. That's frontrowcardshow.com.
We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Crank up the hits and bring on the boom. It's 80s fireworks night at T-Mobile Park. Get ready for a totally tubular show on Friday, July 18th. Presented by T-Mobile. The Mariners face off against the division rival Astros at 7:10. And after the game, the sky will light up to the sound of your favorite 80s jams. Big hits on the field and more big hits after dark.
Grand slam! Julio takes it deep and clears it off.
Mariners baseball, fireworks, and hair metal? Sounds like a rad night. Lock in your seats now at Mariners.com and check out what else is on deck at the ballpark this summer, including 3 straight value games against the Brewers, July 21st through 23rd, and the next Mariners fireworks show on August 1st.
Goodbye, baseball. He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Rowley, the big dumper.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
The home of the Mariners.
Lift off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Do you find yourself searching the medicine cabinet for pills and sprays during allergy season? How about having to buy one more medication when the season hits? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We offer a solution that will save you time, money, and frustration. Rynair is a simple, minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're taking new patients in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, taking a look outside of Seattle at the top stories you're going to hear about today. This one is, I can't tell, I'm going to be real honest, I can't tell if this is like a social experiment that a shock jock is doing. I'm curious to see what you guys think, because you know how sometimes people intentionally say, maybe they have a take that gets warped and misconstrued and is taken out of context. All of us have had that happen. Like if you're in sports radio or radio at all, maybe someone paraphrases an article you wrote or summarizes a take and you're like, I didn't say that. But I don't know. know, man. I don't know if there's a way to misunderstand what Kevin Keitzman's saying here. He's calling Patrick Mahomes fat.
I'm going to say it, and I'm going to tell you the truth. That's why you hit the play button. He's an embarrassment. You're a $500 million quarterback. You've made all these comments in the offseason that we're going to do our talking on the field. We got our butts kicked in the Super Bowl. We're coming back with a vengeance. Dude, you're fat. Your belly would be fat at my pool, hanging out with us, 60-year-olds, okay? My skin's flabbier than yours. I get it. Stop. Stop the fast food. Do a sit-up. Do something. Yeah, I'm sure he's worked out and strengthened his arm, and he's done all kinds of different things, quarterback things, but there's no training to this man. I don't understand it.
I really paused, Bump, to think, what if he's doing a social experiment? What if he's having a fake segment, right? Like, we've been facetious or sarcastic and someone takes it out of context. I think he's serious.
Yeah, I think he's serious, too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Pat Mahomes, too. When he comes into camp, like, he usually looks a little more fluffy, and then he kind of works into game shape. And also, he's never been a six-pack type of dude.
No.
Like, he's never been ripped like that.
My guy's had a belly.
Some people's bodies just don't work like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work like that.
Leave us alone.
And he's the best quarterback in the game. And he knows what he's doing at this point. I've seen guys who can run for days, jump high, run fast, and not be ripped. Just their bodies are just different. And this is local, right? He's in Kansas City. So you know Pat Mahomes is going to hear this. His trainer already fired shots back at him and said, will you come and do a training session and see if you can keep up with Pat Mahomes? Nah, man, this is not understanding exactly what quarterbacks are required to do. Jared Goff has a little pouch at his little belly.
Yeah.
One of the best quarterbacks in the game. You don't have to look a certain way to be good at your job. End of the day, when it's time to play, he's in shape and he's ready to go.
This is what we call trying really, really hard to have a take that people talk about. And I understand the push when you're in media to be like, okay, I have to get this article circulated, so it should be a spicy headline. I have to have, what's my most interesting take? I have to really say something here. But sometimes you outthink the room and you really say something that, like, I don't even know if you believe it. It's not well thought out. It doesn't sound intelligent. It sounds really desperate. Not only that, Patrick Mahomes was just in a Super Bowl. He's the best modern quarterback we've seen, not named Tom Brady. If you have 3 seasons, let's say, where Patrick Mahomes is just, he's not on top of it. Not only is he falling apart on the field, but maybe in your mind, him not taking care of his body is also him struggling with injury and really not working through things. He has been so consistently great that people have entire conspiracy theories. They spend months talking about how the Chiefs are cheating and how the refs are on their side. That's how consistently great Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are. And your take is that he has one too many beers at a barbecue during his time off?
Peyton
just
Manning.
a bad take.
Peyton Manning, not a shirt-off guy.
No.
Tom Brady wasn't a shirt-off guy. He's better now in his older years than he was in his earlier years.
Do you want your quarterback to look like a defensive end? Like, they have completely different jobs. I don't know. Why does it matter if he has a six-pack?
You can be ripped. Lamar Jackson is ripped. You take his shirt off.
Sure.
Jalen Hurts is ripped. Take his shirt off.
Two
Josh
very
Allen
different quarterbacks.
looks good.
Very different quarterbacks.
That's not how you judge someone athletically. If that's the case, Babe Ruth is garbage. He should have never been touted as one of the best hitters of all time. If that's the case, I mean, there are a bunch of just great athletes who are just not shaped a certain way. I'm thinking of a golfer who hits the crap out of the ball.
John Daly.
John Daly, thank you. Garbage. Phil Mickelson, garbage. Like, it's that's a horrible take, man.
It's really bad.
He's the best quarterback in the game. He wants to come in a little chunky. He can come in a little chunky.
You let him be chunky.
He's going to be ready to go.
I know that's right. So anyways, Kevin, I have to say this is the worst take I have heard in a really, really long time. This beats, Curtis, who was it that said that the state income tax is what kept the Florida Panthers? Yeah, you beat Paul, Kevin. Congratulations. You officially have the worst take I've heard in months.
Hey, but we're talking about, I bet you this is countrywide
This is
right
exactly
now.
what someone like him wants. I don't know, Kevin. Maybe he's a cool dude, but
I know his son.
The entire point of this kind of take is that people end up talking about it, so congratulations, but it's hard not to.
Yeah.
It's just objectively bad, so maybe we should move on. The Boston and San Francisco media are still going back and forth about Rafi Devers all these weeks later, and why wouldn't they? Again, content, right? Staying with the theme. It started on Wednesday when Red Sox broadcaster Will Fleming shared this about Devers and Giants great Will Clark.
I was there the second day. Will Clark was there to work on ground balls with him at first base, and Rafi didn't show up. So that's the person that these guys have been dealing with.
How dare he, this diva. However, Will Clark himself has a different account of what happened.
So Matt Williams and Bob Melvin want me to go out there and work with him around first base. No problem. And we weren't gonna like go through anything physical. We're just gonna walk through and say, hey, look, if throw's coming from over there, stand this way. Throw's coming from over there, stand that way. It wasn't gonna be this big thing, right? And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he did not come out early at all, period. Not at all. Matter of fact, he didn't even hit on the field, right? And everybody's like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry, Will. I'm so sorry. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. I said, I know what happened. I said, he didn't want to go out and be at first base and be 20 feet in front of their freaking dugout with, what went on in Boston. And now he's working with me at first base. He didn't want to have to go through all that through the press and the media. And so, anyway, so I completely understand. But Rafael Devers, the next time I'm in San Francisco, your ass will be on the field at first base.
Listen here, Devers.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think communication just could have been better with the whole situation, but no, that makes complete sense. And then, there's two sides of every story. You meet in the middle and you take what you want out of that. That's what you have to do with this.
All right. Next story here. Most people flinch when hearing thunder and lightning, right?
I saw this video.
I'll flinch if I hear anything. If someone closes a door a little too loudly, maybe someone talks loudly. Curtis terrified me the other day by opening the door and going, ah, and it scared me. So this one is a little controversial. Bump, you mentioned you saw the video, so you'd probably agree. The Orioles AAA team got called for a balk when a nearby thunderstorm made the pitcher lose his composure while on the mound.
1-1 the count on Paulie. A huge crash of lightning as Contreras kicked. And it's a balk.
Wow. They're going to call that a balk, and everybody jumped.
Mother Nature gives Jacksonville a run. It's 2-1, and Norfolk is arguing the call, but I don't know how you can argue that. Unfortunately,
it's unfortunate timing. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I feel like you should have a mulligan in that situation.
Nah, heck no.
What?
You can't control what
You're telling
Mother Nature
me
does. It's a
thunder
balk.
and lightning, and
It's
if I
a
flinch
balk.
a little bit because I could have died.
You don't die
being
from thunder.
Struck by
You
a
don't die from
lightning
thunder.
bolt.
You don't
bolt.
die from thunder.
But thunder goes hand in hand with lightning, and if I hear thunder, I'm thinking I'm going to be struck by lightning,
No,
obviously.
It's unfortunate, but it's a balk. That's a rule. And the rule doesn't say it's a balk unless Mother Nature decides to make loud noises.
I
and you
know. As
flinch.
someone who doesn't like loud noises, I have empathy for this.
I
young
do
man.
too. I have empathy for him, but
Yeah.
rule's a rule, man. It's a balk.
That's tough. Look
if
at God.
if I go 41 and a 40, yeah, it's jacked up if I get a ticket, but it's the law.
Can you imagine getting a ticket in that situation?
I-
You'd open the show with it.
Oh, for sure. You
Yeah,
got to
you
get me
wouldn't even
going
wait
at
for Get
least
Off My Lawn.
6 over.
I think
5, I'm good.
I think the rules should be over 10. I would not be mad at all and would be perfectly understandable. If I got a ticket going 11 over, I'd be like, well, I was going 11 over. What are you
Yeah.
going to do? If
I
I was
ain't
going
tripping
5,
I ain't tripping over 7.
6? No. I probably don't even realize I'm going 7 over.
Nah,
Because I have a need for speed.
you do not. I pass
Pedal
you
to the metal.
every day on 5. You are right lane, below the speed limit.
Well, I'm
hands
sorry
on
that
the
I followed
wheel.
the rules. I saw. And
You're
for that,
below
you know
the
what? For that
speed
matter, we
limit.
don't even have time for the next story because we're against the clock and we have to go. The Mariners are number 1 in a really, really interesting category. I have no idea what to make of it. That's next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The voice of your Seattle Mariners, Aaron Goldsmith, is here with us. Aaron, are you running out of things to say about Cal Raleigh?
It is a really fun struggle to have to try to frame his season in the proper context and to try to really present, truly at this point, as you know, historical examples for how one-of-a-kind this season is becoming for Cal Raleigh.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. When you hear Harley Exteriors, think windows manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help you with your home's resale value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. In July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your entire project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bump in a segment I'm calling Does It Matter? I'm trying to make sense of some odd Mariners stats. One is leading us off, and then I found another from what I'm calling a certified hater. First, games played against teams below 500 by @TJStats. The Mariners are number 1 in the league.
No, they're
53,
not.
yes.
No, they're not.
Yes. 53 games played this season against teams below 500. Number 2, your Dodgers and the Detroit Tigers. 3, the Giants. Tampa Bay at 49. New York Mets at 47. Red Sox at 46. Orioles at 45. Everyone else is 44 and lower. 44 is also what Houston has. And then the fewest games played against teams below 500 are the Pittsburgh Pirates, Cleveland Guardians, and those poor Rockies. Maybe that's why. Either way,
that's it.
What do we make of the Seattle Mariners having 53 games, the most in the league, against teams below 500? Like, what do I make of that stat?
You look at it and you say that's why that slow start hurts you. That's why it hurts you, because you clearly played against teams that were gettable. And when you start the season the way that you start, and you have the ups and downs, smiles and frowns that you have, and you're looking at the second half of this season and realizing that it's going to be tough, you're just kicking yourself saying, man, we should have taken care of more of these games, just like the Dodgers did, just like Detroit did. Those guys are top of the league, top of the division. They've executed. Granted, their lineups are a bit better than ours. They do some things better than the Mariners do, but no, it makes you a bit more frustrated. I wish I didn't even know that, because I felt like they played against better competition.
I know it now. You have to know it.
Yeah, it's thank you for sharing that information.
You're welcome.
But yeah, it makes you a bit more frustrated, at least me, because I'm thinking, man, you just take care of a few more of these games and you're good to go. You got Detroit with 59 wins, you got the Dodgers with 56 wins, then the Mariners at 48. They should at least be around 55 at this point of the year.
Counterpoint. Ready? I'm just thinking of this now.
Okay.
A silver lining take on this is that you had I don't want to say easiest chunk of your schedule, but you had the most amount of games that you could have against teams under 500 when you had a few of your starters on the IL, some of your bats on the IL. Like, you started the season pretty banged up, and you lost guys fairly quickly, some who haven't come back. It helps that right now we're complaining about Houston and Seattle, they're facing the same teams. Right now we're complaining about Houston at this point in the year facing comparably, this is kind of like their easier chunk in the schedule, and Seattle, meanwhile, is going to have this series against the Yankees, then a series against Detroit, All-Star break, then a series against Houston, the hottest team in the league for the past 2 months, then a series against Curtis, what's after that, Milwaukee? So, like, it's not going to be easy for you moving forward. However, you are getting healthier. You've got Logan back. You've got George Kirby back. Like, Cal's still on a heater. Julio could heat up. Like,
you know what?
That's
how you should look at it.
Thank you.
That's how you should.
Thank you.
The way I'm looking at it is it's going to cause you stress and harm to your well-being. But the way that you're looking at it, yeah, I can understand that. Still should have won more games that first half of the series.
I think it's just one of those stats where you're like, you could make something of it with
that
this.
Said, Bob, no one cares about your golf analogies. I can't relate to it. So
You're gonna
what?
make another
You
one.
understand it, though. So here's another one for you, hater. All right? Here's another one for you. He can't control where he plays. It's like in golf. You can't control the course. You just play the course. Where are we playing today? This is where we're playing? Okay. My home course, Echo. I play my best golf there. Why? Because I'm comfortable. I know where to miss. I know how to get out of trouble. I just feel good at that course. So I play the course. That's all Cal's doing. He's just playing the course. So what? I want to see the numbers if didn't you do the math if Judge played
Just for so I didn't do the math. I saw a separate tweet that said, like, okay, well, if First of all, this is going to vary by park, and it doesn't really say anything about the overall player. It's not like Cal has you don't luck into 36 home runs.
Nah.
You don't just like get lucky and get a ton of meatballs, sure things over the middle, and that's how you got 36 home runs. Absolutely not. That's not how that happened. However, sure, if you want to look and figure out based on, this guy pulling fly balls or whatever it is, like wherever they're hitting home runs, which side of the plate, that certain parks are going to produce more, sure. But someone else tweeted like, well, if Cal played in Houston, he'd have 38. If Aaron Judge played in Detroit, he'd have 24. It doesn't really say as much as you think it does about either of these players. They're both power hitters. Aaron Judge is having the most amazing season we've seen from anyone since like 2004. And Cal Raleigh is doing something we've never seen a catcher do. And for that matter, that we haven't seen a Mariner do in a really long time. You can just let it be like that. It doesn't like it's not an actual, it's one of those stats that you think is like really making a point. Like you really think you did something is kind of how I feel about this stat. Like you really thought you did something. And then the other one that you were talking about is Cal's home run last night would have been a home run in 30 out of 30 ballparks. Aaron Judge's would have been a home run in 8.
Exactly. Who cares? They're both home runs.
Yeah. Oh, but no, I shouldn't count Aaron Judge's, right? No, of course you should.
That's what's weird about baseball too, is that ballparks are so different. Like with football, you know what it is, 53 and a quarter wide, got 100 yards north and south. Only thing that's really going to affect the game is your weather. Like the stadium itself doesn't really affect football, but in baseball, people can take that into account. It also drives where guys want to go play ball. That's why we don't get free agents who are just dying to come here to Seattle, because they look at the ballpark and the conditions and say, it's tougher to hit there. That's just part of the game. It's always been part of the game. I've never seen a ballpark that looks exactly like another one unless it's a replica somewhere for a Little League. Like, it just doesn't happen that way. So this is just nitpicking. This is just someone with too much time on their hands who's probably a New York fan who just can't fathom that a catcher from Seattle has more bombs than Aaron Judge. Aaron still is probably going to win the MVP, so just leave it at that. Man, every batter goes through the same things. You play in different ballparks, affects your game differently. As long as it goes over that fence, it counts. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Also, it's like when you do something like that, it's very relative to the specific batter and less relative to like how well he's seeing the ball, him taking advantage of certain pitches. Teams right now, well, they have been pitching around Judge. They're pitching around Cal right now. They're intentionally walking Cal right now. The Yankees did not, but they, being opponents, are currently worried about facing Cal because he's hot, as they should be, and he's earned that. So I think it's another one of those stats where you're like, what do I make of this? Does it mean anything at all? I think for this one, we both decided, no, it doesn't. Okay. It's always helpful ahead of MLB's trade deadline to talk to someone who's been there, done that. So bring on a former GM, Jim Bowden, next.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passett with Brock and Salk.
As we dig into the Julio Rodriguez week-to-week conversation, what stands out now?
You want to see, when it's prime time, how is this guy going to handle it? How is he going to react? What is he going to be? And we know he wants to be the guy. We know he wants to be in the center of everything, but we need to see it. Show us what you got.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year, and I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought, I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and I had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details, on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's advanced FUE, begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners fell to the Yankees yesterday, but Cal Raleigh still made history with his 36th home run, the most for any Mariner before the All-Star break, breaking Ken Griffey Jr.'s record. Logan Evans on the mound today, another 4:05 p.m. start in the Bronx.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Bump, do you think the Mariners will be pretty aggressive at the trade deadline? Jordan Shusterman seemed to have faith that they would be.
Yeah, I think they will. They were last year. I mean, we forget that.
Give them credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that we're very quick to be like, you didn't do enough in winter, but I don't know, man. New opportunity here. Let's talk to someone who knows exactly what that opportunity looks like in a front office. The Athletic and MLB Network Radio's Jim Bowden joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Jim, how's it going?
Going great. How are you?
Fantastic. I mean, it's a little bittersweet. You watched Cal Raleigh make history yesterday for the Mariners, and then obviously it comes in a loss. We're interested in talking about Cal, but very, very interested in talking to you about the trade deadline. My first question is, when you're looking at the market as it exists today with expanded playoffs, what kind of challenges are GMs facing when more teams think they can make the playoffs?
Yeah, it's extremely challenging because you only have a handful of teams that really aren't in the race in terms of the wild card race, which makes it difficult. And so, 10 years ago, before we had this kind of system, there'd be a larger group of sellers, right? And so you'd have a lot of sellers for buyers trade. When you get in a market like this, where most of the teams still think they're buyers, you have to work deals buyers for buyers, right? Like you have to talk to other contenders and try to make trades with them based on your weakness and their strength and see if you can't match up. So it is a little more challenging, in talking to the GMs and presidents in both leagues. It's very clear to them that they're not sure by the time we get to the end of July what teams are actually going to be selling and which teams are going to be buying. So it's a challenge. It just means that instead of doing homework, say, on 7 or 8 teams, you really have to do homework on all other 29 teams to see if you match up.
Hey, Jim, Stacy asked me the question to start this segment. Like, do you think the Mariners are going to be aggressive? And I go, yeah, I think they will be. They have to be. And last year they were as well. What other teams do you feel like are going to be aggressive and will be competing with the Mariners for the same prospects, or not prospects, players?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. That's a great question because Seattle, of course, is looking for a big bat, right? Either at first base or third base. That's kind of been their priority. It was in the offseason. It was in spring training, and it still is now. So, the teams that are looking for offense, the Texas Rangers in their own division are looking for offense. The Kansas City Royals are out there looking for a bat. The Tigers are looking for a third base bat. Seattle wants a first baseman or a third baseman, but the Tigers would love to get a big third base bat there. So those are some of the American League teams that are looking for bats. A lot of the National League teams are looking for more bullpen help, like the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. So that appears to be the competition. But then the big question is what bats are going to be available, right? That's what everybody's asking. And I think everyone's watching the Arizona Diamondbacks to see if they end up being sellers because, of course, they have 2 guys that would fit Seattle, Josh Naylor for first base or a reunion with Eugenio Suarez are 2 guys that make sense. Ryan O'Hearn of the Orioles makes a little bit of sense. I'm not sure if Jarren Duran is in the mix with Seattle, but I know he's a player that both the Padres and Phillies are looking at. So there are bats that are going to be available, but I think we're going to know more in a couple of weeks. I think all the GMs and presidents right now are trying to get through the draft and the All-Star weekend. And I think once that's over at the end of next week, then they're going to start focusing on the trades more seriously.
Jim, I know that this is, like you said, subject to change after not just the draft, but as we go over the next, week or so here. That being said, right. Based on what you're hearing about the Diamondbacks, what's your gut tell you about whether or not Suarez actually gets moved, even if it's like a percentage shot? Is it 50-50? Unlikely. What are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling like the Diamondbacks will get to the deadline and realize their best play is going to be to move them. As long as they're not really in striking distance of the playoffs, they have 4 players that are going to be impending free agents, right? So Suarez, Josh Naylor, and then pitchers Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. When you have a seller's market like this, you can really do well in bringing back a return. And I think if you don't think you're going to make the playoffs this year, why wouldn't you trade those 4 guys and then try to sign them again in the offseason where you get the best of both worlds? Maybe you get 8 prospects for those 4 guys and then turn around and sign 2 or 3 of them in the offseason after they've tested free agency. I think it's a win-win for Arizona. So I kind of feel like it's going to depend on how they play after the All-Star break. But if they get out after the All-Star break and don't start to show a lot of improvement, I kind of feel like that's the direction they need to go and will go.
Another concern for this team, right? You want to bat, you want to add some power, but as we get deeper into this first half, as it almost closes, right? It's the arms out of the bullpen. We're a little shaky right now. Sometimes they perform great. You can always depend on Brash and Munoz, but it's been up and down for everyone else. Is there an arm you think that the Imps could target?
Yeah, there's a lot of good relief pitching that's that people are talking about that are going to be dangled out there, which is interesting. If the Red Sox sell, they're going to move Aroldis Chapman, who's having an unbelievable year for them. We got other big names. We keep hearing the Guardians are going to move Emmanuel Clase if they can get the right offense coming back. And the one thing the Mariners have is they have a lot of prospects. I mean, their cabinet is as full as any contending team, so they have what Cleveland would want for him. I think at some point, if we get to the deadline, Mike Elias in Baltimore will see what he can get for Felix Bautista, another guy that could be available. We're waiting to see what the Cardinals do with Ryan Helsley. And I know Jerry DePoto's always wanted Mason Miller from the Athletics. I'm not sure he's going to get him on this time around, but it's certainly probably worth the conversation. I mean, the good thing about Jerry is the owners are willing to spend some money here at the deadline, and his prospect cabinet is full. So he has as good a chance of making a trade at the deadline of any of the contending teams in either leagues.
Kind of going hand in hand with that, what's your honest evaluation of where the Mariners are, maybe how aggressive you would be if you were in Jerry's shoes? Because on the one hand, Jim, just so you know, kind of the local talk, I think that there are fans that are just kind of routinely heartbroken by this team, understandably so. And so when you aren't making up ground in the division, they go, oh, what does it matter? And then there's another group that goes, what are you talking about? The whole American League is down. Like, there's no reason you can't be aggressive. So they're kind of 50-50. So how do you see the team, your most honest view of them? And I guess what would you do in Jerry's shoes?
Yeah, I'm not 50-50. I'm 100% pedal to the metal.
Great.
And I want to take advantage of this window that has the starting pitching and the closer that can run the table in October. And 2 years ago, I sat there covering the World Series watching two wild card teams, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers in the World Series as the Rangers won the World Championship. And I look at the Seattle Mariners and I say to myself, go get one big bat, get to the playoffs as a wild card team, which I think they will, and then you can run the table. You know, if you make a trade for Josh Naylor and you put Josh Naylor at first base in this lineup and put him in between J-Rod and Cal Raleigh in this lineup, you're going to score enough runs and get there and let this pitching staff do their thing. It's pedal to the metal with this team. This is the window. Don't wait. Don't wait. You never know what pitcher's going to get hurt next year. You already dealt with a couple of your starting pitchers going through injuries to start the year. I mean, and it's going to keep happening. That's part of baseball. We see all the pitchers break down. It's what happens in 2025 and beyond. So take advantage of the window you have. Go get another bat. Pedal to the metal. No excuses.
This might be hard to quantify, but how good do you think the Mariners' core is? And to me, the core right now is Cal, JP, Julio, Randy,
Logan.
No, just bats.
Oh, just bats?
Bats,
Ooh.
yeah. Like how good is that core when you look at the elite?
It's a good. I mean, look, I'm a big person of looking at facts, right? Because facts are what they are. You look at your record, that's who you are. You look at where you stand in runs scored. The Mariners are in the middle of the pack of the 30 teams. You look at team ERA, they're in the middle of the pack. But that being said, they've dealt with a lot of injuries to their pitching staff, and their pitching staff, some of the pitchers have underachieved, which I expect will improve and get better. So, I look at this pitching staff as potentially top 8 in baseball. And I think the offense is middle of the road. I think if you go out and get one more bat, all the core you just talked about, they all get better. Every single one of them get better when you get one more guy. We covered the Guardians last year playing the Yankees in the league championship series. And part of the reason we covered them is Josh Naylor was hitting 30 and driving in 100, right? And as soon as the Guardians moved on from him, where are they now? They're not even in the picture. We're not even talking about them. And they're near the bottom in every offensive category. And if it wasn't for Jose Ramirez, they'd be last in every offensive category. And so that's what you need. And you put them in there. Everyone around them gets better. This team, I'm telling you, is one big hitter away from having the potential of a lot of champagne popping in Seattle, in the Northwest in October. But you got to do it. We can't talk about it anymore.
Jim, the text line is absolutely loving
Jim.
you. I'm just letting you know. You're having people actively rooting you on right now. Okay, so my question is, it feels impossible to answer, but you're very qualified to answer it. I always wonder, okay, so how do teams build when they do have, pay restrictions? Because we can say as much as we want about they shouldn't have brought in this bat or spent on this bat. But the elephant in the room is, look, you're operating with a different budget than are the top teams in baseball. And that's still the case when you go into the deadline. It's still going to be the case when you go into winter. How do you build a contender? How can the Mariners take that step if there are still limitations on what they're willing to spend.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have to work within your budget, whatever you have, and it can be done. Look at the job the Tampa Bay Rays do year in and year out without any payroll at all. They're always in the bottom 5, and they're always in the top of the standings with the elite teams that spend money. Look, the teams that have more money, yeah, they have an advantage. Doesn't mean they're going to win more games, but yeah, it gives them an advantage. But you have to find a way to win with what you have. And one of the things that the Mariners aren't getting enough credit for is the job that Jerry Dipoto and his staff have done in drafting and in player development, and they are loaded. Their farm system is loaded right now. And they're loaded with guys that are going to help them at the big league level, but they're also loaded right now where you can go get whatever you want. That's why I say there's no excuses. Look, if you're trying to acquire a player and right now he doesn't fit your payroll and the owner says, no, you can't do it, then you're going to have to trade another prospect and have that other team eat some money to make it work. You got to get creative. You got to find a way. I've always said when someone says can't, I always say get rid of the T.
I'm going to tell my kids that tonight, Jim. Hey, what does this say? We were surprised when Julio got the All-Star nod, and we're making assumptions about why he did and how he's perceived throughout the league. What does it say to you that Julio got the All-Star nod when most of us here in Seattle were not expecting that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with the outfield depth in the league, number one. Look, I know he's had a disappointing first half of the year, but I will tell you that I am a huge J-Rod fan. I like him more than both of you and all your fan base. I think that he will live up to the contract. I think he will live up to expectations. Sometimes when you pay someone that much money early in their contract and they're not playing for finances for the family, sometimes you don't have the grind, you don't have the you don't feel the sense of urgency of making the adjustments you need to make. And some guys, there's a reason why the algorithm says your prime years are 25 to 30. There's a reason why that's there. I have complete confidence that J-Rod is going to carry this team in the second half. And Raleigh will be the story in the first half, and J-Rod will be the story in the second half. I'm not worried about him. And that's part of the reason he's on this all-star team, because the rest of baseball and the fans and the media, we understand what his potential is. We just haven't gotten there yet. But he will. He'll get there.
What do you see? It feels stupid to say what do you see from him because it's what every single scout and executive saw from him, and it's what made him a top prospect. But do you feel like it's like, no, he's just on the verge? I'm talking 1 or 2 tweaks, and he's got like every tool. Like, is that how you see him still?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think a lot of baseball is what's between the ears. It's not the physical talent. So I think when we look at Julio Rodriguez, the one thing we know is that the physical talent is there to be a superstar. The physical talent is there to be a 40 home run, 40 stolen base type of player. That is what the potential is. Now, I don't know if he presses. I don't know what goes on. I know that he's a 3-4 WAR player right now. I get all that. And I know 11 homers and 15 steals isn't what we expected. But still, it's going to be very easy to do the 2020 thing, worst case scenario, right? But, sometimes, again, and I don't mean to keep pounding the table on this, but I'm going to, just for the sake of it. Yeah. He's 24 years old. He won't turn 25 until the end of December. There's a reason. The algorithms say 25 to 30. They don't say 21 to 26 or 22 to 28. We're talking about 30 years of data that screams that's when the players get there. So, I'm sorry that it hasn't happened so far this year. Perhaps it's when he gets to that magic age of 25. Sometimes it takes maturity. Sometimes it takes something that clicks, and he is a power hitter. Now, Edgar Martinez is the lead voice for him, and Edgar's, a batting average guy, an on-base guy, right? Work the count, go the other way, all those kinds of things. And Julio's going to have to find that happy balance between the two. There are times I've seen him struggle with velocity. There are times I've seen him struggle with breaking balls. And when he's got one going, he seems to not have the other going. So I don't know if that's between the ears or what it is. But, again, I have to keep screaming, have patience, take your time, and you're going to end up by the end of this contract, which I believe will end with player options 30 to 34. I think you'll find at the very end he might even opt out because he'll surpass this contract.
Great stuff. The Athletic and MLB Network Radio's Jim Bowden. Jim, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
Have a good one. All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bowden and Stacy.
Headline number one, after missing half of 2024 with a hamstring injury, Dak Prescott says he'll be a full go for Cowboys training camp at the end of the month. What's the real headline?
Yeah, this is going to have no impact on how the Cowboys season ends. We know where it's going.
We know how this goes.
Dak, I wish you the best.
You come out hot.
Mm-hmm.
Offense is flowing. CD Lamb, George Pickens. And your offense is prolific.
However,
Dak looks good. You win about 10, 11.
Yeah.
Maybe 12.
But we know.
And you get to the playoffs, and what's that? Price is Right. Boom, 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 boom.
No.
That's what
exactly
it is.
what it is.
That's what it is. You get all hyped
Just,
up for nothing. Dallas Cowboys fans.
Yes, Matt, thank you.
There we go. There it is right there. I have Dallas Cowboys fans who are families and friends, and they listen to me. And whenever I talk bad about them, I got to answer to, why are you talking bad about
They
my
feel
boys?
attacked.
I go, listen, 30 years, dog. 30 years, and we've seen nothing from you. So prove me wrong, and then I'll be quiet.
Yeah, it's constantly one of the weirdest things to me. You know what part of it is and this is a very surface level view of the team, but maybe it's fitting because they might be like a surface level team. They have some really elite playmakers. In theory, they should be so much better, but then they lack depth at some really important places. And obviously, there are questions about the new coaching staff and what you're going to be rolling out for your offense. So it all makes sense. It's just so weird that a team that at one point had back-to-back seasons with 12 wins or something like that, like top 5
Might have
offense,
been
top 10.
back-to-back.
Yeah, top 5 offense, top 5 defense, and it just didn't happen for you.
Never does.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number two, Giants catcher Patrick Bailey hit a walk-off inside the park home run to help San Francisco beat the Phillies last night. Here's how that craziness sounded.
First and third, one out. Patrick hits a high drive, deep right center field. This one is off the top of the wall, and it ricochets, and it's rolling on the warning track. 2 runs are in. Bailey coming around third. Patrick Bailey scores! It's an inside the park walk-off home run. Now we've seen everything.
What's the real headline?
I think we have a new entry for most exciting baseball play. If you guys remember, we debated these the other day. Did we settle on perfect game number one?
Perfect game number one.
And it's not a play, but most exciting thing that can happen, the coolest thing, I should say, the coolest thing that can happen in a game. Perfect game number one.
Yeah, perfect game number one. Walk-off grand salami was my number 2. I think you liked...
I went pretty heavy pitching. I had like a no-hitter, but I think it's unfortunately going to be bumped down, and I have to go now with... I fear that a walk-off inside the park home run that knocks in multiple runs when you're down, that might be cooler than a walk-off grand slam.
It's the anticipation because you see the ball hits the wall, bars, ricochets over
Just
there.
Rhymes.
That's a bar. Bars rhyme. Why you always do that?
I'm just
Why you
saying,
always take me off of where I'm going? Okay, let me finish where I'm going.
Okay.
All right. Ball, wall.
Yes.
Player.
Yeah.
Chasing. Runner.
Yes.
Bases. Second, third. Home throw. Catcher, miss. Hands up like a touchdown, but it is an inside the park home run.
Yep.
Goodness gracious.
I was going to say the same thing.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, the Astros lost to the Guardians 10-6 on Tuesday, but the Mariners still have not gained any ground on Houston since June 8th. June 8th. What's the real headline?
I wonder what it's like being God's favorite. It's just...
You think they play God's Plan in their clubhouse by Drake?
They have to.
God's Plan.
They have to. There's no way. I mean, every time you lose, the Mariners lose. Like you're blessed and highly favored at this point, and it's very obvious.
Like the Astros fans have the complete opposite feel we have, because the first thing we do is check the Astros score. Like, okay, what they do? Dang, they got it done. And the Astros are looking at us like, these guys can't even take advantage. It's frustrating. I don't like it, and it feels like the baseball gods are on their side for reasons I can't understand, because they've ruined baseball. They didn't ruin it, but they hurt the reputation a little bit.
You're not the
good
underdogs
guys.
here.
When's the last movie you watched where the bad guy actually won?
Oh my God. You know what? This is going to be a spoiler for the movie. I just saw this as a trending topic on Twitter, and it was that question, like, what's a movie you watched where the villain won? And someone said it was, is it Us? Them? What's the Jordan Poole?
Us or Get Out?
You're thinking of Us.
Us.
Yeah.
That in Us,
Yeah.
technically, the villain won in the end.
Yeah. It's been a while since I can remember. I don't think I've seen that, but
It's good.
yeah, I got to check that out. This is what it feels like.
Yeah.
The bad guys are winning.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It doesn't like spoil the movie, but it would be like if you watch Mighty Ducks and Team Iceland wins, and you're like, what?
It fully spoils the movie.
It spoils but
literally
you don't know
every single aspect
you-
of the movie.
You don't know who the bad guy is.
But now you know they won.
You know they won, but you don't know who's who. Like, you don't know. I don't think that spoils it.
I strongly disagree.
Look, the movie's been out for years, okay? I think that there is I'm going to say a 2-year limit on before you can spoil movies. Past 2 years, that's on you. That's simply on you. Like, if I say the ending to, like, especially when you get into decades, Star Wars or whatever, and someone's like, come on, man. I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care. You've had your whole life to do this. So.
Mystery Alaska. That's the hockey movie, right?
They play the Rangers.
Is that where the bad guys win?
They give him a heck of a fight.
Yeah.
Is Russell Crowe in that?
He is.
Yeah. That was a good one.
I can't think of another movie, though, because the bad guys aren't supposed to win. And I'm not saying Houston's just outright the bad guys. There's a divisional rivalry here. There's a personal reason that we also don't like them.
Yeah.
But it is a bummer.
Matt, someone says Star Wars. Bad guys win in Star Wars?
They kind of win in The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was also going to say Avengers Infinity War. Thanos wins at the end of that.
But then there's like another one, right?
Yeah. It's a movie where the bad guy wins, though.
That's true.
Also, The Usual Suspect. Probably the best movie where the bad guy wins.
Usual Suspect, yeah.
Well, we came up with some pretty good movies where the bad guy wins.
Well, Ash was a star in this one. Who's the lead? Is it Altuve?
Huh?
Is Altuve the lead?
As far as face of the team, yeah. Impact this year, it would have been Pena.
Hunter Brown.
Hunter Brown.
Well,
Oh.
Pena too, offensively.
Yeah, Pena, who's now in the IL, but Pena, Brown, who just had a bad game, and it still didn't matter.
Well,
Didn't matter.
Mariners, let's just be the Mighty Ducks. Okay? Let's beat Team Iceland and get her done.
Someone said Matt was screaming Infinity War in his head.
I was.
Multiple
They're
people
right.
texted in Infinity War. Someone said Rocky. Is there a Rocky where the bad guy wins?
Just lose, yeah.
End of the movie.
Not in, but he gets beat up pretty bad.
Well, I know what I'm going to be doing during this break. And when you guys come back, we're going to be taking a look around the NFL. That's next.
He's the southpaw from down under, Ryan Roland Smith with Wyman and Bob.
What was your reaction to Julio making the All-Star squad?
Julio going to the All-Star game is nothing but great. It's good for his confidence. I would say J.P. Crawford had a bigger case at shortstop than Julio did at center field to make the All-Star game. When you have a leadoff hitter with the on-base that he has, I thought J.P. had a bigger case.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Upgrade your view and comfort with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Buy one window or door, get the second at 50% off through July, and enjoy 12 months same as cash financing. For details, visit lakewashingtonwindows.com. What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even bad hair day?
Yep.
And tree branch fell on my car day?
Especially that day. Progressive has you covered 24/7 for your home and auto.
How about thought it was chicken, but it was tuna day? Or overnight construction outside my bedroom day?
Those days too.
Great, because that was each day this week.
Been there. Well, at least your home and auto are covered every day with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start in Tampa Bay. Buccaneers three-time All-Pro left tackle Tristan Wirfs underwent arthroscopic knee surgery. He'll likely start the season on the PUP list. That's pretty massive for Tampa Bay. Not only do the Seahawks play them in Week 5, so that impacts Seattle, but their offensive line has been a very underrated part of their story and a very underrated part of Baker Mayfield's story, not just last season, but he's kind of flown under the radar as an incredibly efficient passer there. In general, I think people overlook both the NFC and AFC South, but also overlooked Tampa Bay in the playoffs. They were good, man. Like, that's a tough week 5. So this is impactful.
Yeah, it is. You want your hogs on the front line, and we've dealt with that here in Seattle when you don't have Abe Lucas, when you shuffle your guards around, your center quits on you halfway through the season. You got to throw a young guy in there. Continuity and consistency on that offensive line is important, but, man, I think Baker Mayfield has enough grit to kind of weather the storm and get through this. I like Baker.
He does, though. I always forget his stats from last. What did he have? 40 touchdowns?
40 of them things.
Something just crazy where it's like, oh yeah, huh? Shame on me, right? Like, I should remember that, but I just don't remember having a lot of conversations about Baker Mayfield because we'd already established, like, oh yeah, bounce back candidate, bounce back with a couple teams, and this is yet another one. But man. So, anyways, relevant. Where do things stand, speaking of the NFC South, between the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins after the release of Netflix's quarterback? ESPN's Dan Graziano with the latest.
I think the expectation is that Kirk Cousins will show up and be the backup to Michael Penix and play the good soldier, which, really given Kirk Cousins' history, is fair to expect. But, Kirk's a guy that when you ask him a question, he's going to give you an honest answer. And I think that's what you got in the clip that's, comes from the quarterback show on Netflix. If Kirk Cousins was going to be a malcontent and do things to try and force Atlanta to trade him, he would have been doing that already. I don't know that it would have worked anyway, but I think at this point, Kirk's best hope is that someone else's circumstances change to the point where they're willing to compensate Atlanta at a higher level than they have been so far, and he gets his wish and gets to go somewhere and start.
Now, as a primer, the clip that Dan is talking about in this cut, again, from quarterback on Netflix, Kirk Cousins, in a couple different scenes, talks about feeling a bit misled when he signed with Atlanta, being surprised when they took Michael Penix Jr. I'm sure that as we get into the season, he'll talk more about that shoulder injury he was dealing with. We'll see him be benched for Michael Penix Jr. It'll be, I'm sure, controversial and worth talking about. You did watch the premiere episode and saw Cousins talking about this. What were your impressions?
I think that they went into the situation with good intent. I think they thought Kirk Cousins was going to be the guy. You don't pay him, $80 million over 3 seasons, guaranteed, if you don't believe he's going to be the guy. But what happens is you get into the NFL draft and things start to unfold, and you're looking at Michael Penix, and you never thought he'd be there. So you have to make that move. This is where the NFL stands for no freaking loyalty. Because if you were Pat Mahomes, Lamar, like 5 or 6 other quarterbacks, yeah, they're loyal as heck to you until you fall off. With Kirk Cousins, he's such in a place where you don't really know. He's 35 years of age. He's had a major injury. He's never really won a playoff games wherever he's been, but he's a solid quarterback, can get you to the playoffs. They're not loyal to you. They're loyal to the next best thing, and it's Michael Penix. I understand where he's coming from because I think that they were honest with their intent, but things change and happen all the time. He's a victim of it.
And look, like, I know that I'm getting a bit repetitive because I said the same thing yesterday when we talked about Kirk Cousins and took a listen from this scene, but you don't bench great quarterbacks. There is a certain amount, I don't want to say responsibility since it does sound like an injury was part of this story, but there is a factor in this that is out of anyone's control, and also a factor of it that's your own play. If you were a great quarterback, you would not have been benched. They were already comfortable paying you that money. Yes, they were very interested in Michael Penix Jr., really wanted to see what they had, but like, if you're balling, you're playing.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing is that he lost the job. It wasn't like he was playing excellent football, then they said, we want to give this guy a chance. There was a game, I'm trying to find it, where he wasn't very bad. There was a stretch through November. In November, 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 8 interceptions in 4 games. You start playing like that, man. Your job is up for grabs. So it's performance-based business, and he didn't perform the way that we're used to seeing him do.
And to the NFC East, the Commanders have unveiled a new throwback uniform that looks a lot like one we've seen before. It's what they wore before their rebrand. They're going to debut this new uniform, which is basically a throwback, against the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football in Week 9. Does this mean we will see a double throwback game where the Seahawks are wearing their throwbacks in Week 9?
Who's home?
Curtis, do you know offhand who's home between the Seahawks and Commanders?
Road game against the Commanders.
Road game.
All right, that'd be nice to wear the blue. I don't think those jerseys look good together, throwback blues versus those, but I do think that the throwback Commander jerseys are fire. It's the simplicity. I think once you start trying to get too creative with football jerseys, man, it just don't look right. Like NBA, you can get creative. I love the old Utah Jazz jerseys with the mountains in the back and it's all purple and stuff. The Sixers have creative jerseys. Miami, when they do their retro nights or whatever you want to call them with the neon and all that stuff. Basketball, I feel like you can get creative, but football is like the more simple, the better.
My ideal jersey, like game combo that you're watching where guys are playing opposite each other is like that classic, like road whites, home blues look where it's like one team clearly has like a white jersey. Like that to me is just the cleanest overall look. It's simple. I don't mind though stark contrast between the two uniforms, which is what this would be. Washington does have the white jerseys and then the red pants. Seattle with their throwbacks is obviously like green and blue. I don't mind a stark contrast where there's no crossover. What really grinds my gears is when you get opposing jersey colors that are, let's say, the Miami Dolphins and Carolina Panthers. Like, I despise, I loathe just two shades of blue facing off. I can't stand it.
I'm gonna give Dallas some love here because, like I predicted, I got a text from my friend when I started talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
Like today?
Like right now.
They checked in. They clocked in.
They said that, like, I'll read it to you.
They said I clocked in for work, and I'm here to tell you.
They said the disrespect towards America's team.
Oh, wow.
All right, but I do like the Cowboys uniforms with the stars on the shoulder. I like those. And then the white helmets as well. So there you go, Dallas. I'll give you the jersey. Your jersey's clean. Even those in the originals, they're clean.
Oh, if I could pick, if the Seahawks, we don't have to have any loyalty to them whatsoever. Dallas Cowboys overall jersey, like the color palette, everything is top 3 for me.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears are also top 3 for me.
You like the Bears, like that orange, huh?
I like just the hint of orange, just a sprinkle.
A sprinkle.
With the navy.
I can go with the Giants. I like the Giants. The blue is tough to me.
Jags can stay away. Titans can stay away. Panthers can stay away. I don't like, obviously, teals, turquoise.
You like the creamsicles? I like those.
For Tampa
Bay.
Yeah. I like orange. I don't like a lot of shades of blue.
The strong rumor is the creamsicles will be worn against the Seahawks in the 50th anniversary game.
Can you imagine? How many times can the Seahawks wear throwbacks?
4 times.
Just make them the regular jerseys.
The white one's supposed to be debuted too. Rumor has it.
How many games are we going to see the Seahawks in
They
navy?
better use all 4 of them.
Well, I think that this could spell the end for Action Green. Because you'll have 2 throwbacks. You'll have that Nike alternate jersey rivalry uniform.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And your regular home and road. That's 5 jerseys.
You got to put them to bed.
Action Green. Holla at you. It's been fun.
It's been wonderful knowing you.
When I think of Action Green, I think of Tyler Lockett back at the end zone against the Rams toe tap on, I think it was Thursday Night Football.
I think
last 2 times they've worn them, they've gotten blown out. Thanksgiving against the Niners, and then last year against the Packers.
Were they wearing Action Green when Sherm and Cam got hurt in Arizona?
Definitely one of them.
I think that's what I think of. I don't know why when I think Action Green, I think just Bad News Bears. I don't like it. I don't like the color of the green against the turf. I'm moving on. Let's see. Speaking of Netflix's quarterback, Amon-Ra St. Brown shared a funny story about how his girlfriend helped him pick his jersey number.
The number thing is so funny with the guys. Was Amon always 14?
Always. You know what? You'll never admit this, but he asked me to count the amount of receivers before him, and that was going to be his number, and I messed up.
No.
And it's not 14.
Brooklyn.
And I told him it was 14, and so that's why he's 14.
Does he know you? Brooklyn.
This was early, like right after I got drafted. I was like, sure, let's do it. And then I recounted. I was like, that's not the right number. It was actually 16 receivers.
14 looks better than 16.
It does.
She did you a favor.
She really helped you
out.
A former MLB GM explains why Julio could have a monster second half. That's coming up next.
This summer, the Mariners take over Atlanta with the All-Star Fantastic Four.
Holy smokes!
Andres.
99 crackles over the corner. Ryan Wu has retired 13 Yankees in a row.
Julio
Rodriguez dives and he makes the catch.
And Cal.
Number 34 for the big number.
Congratulations to the Mariners All-Star 4 from the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Do you have a car you want to sell, but you just don't want to go through all the hassle? I don't blame you. With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are just not comfortable selling their own car. So what do you do if you want to get the most money for your car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your used car and pay right up front for it, but once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most is obviously, well, what's the catch? But there isn't one. Here's how it works. This program means Wayscar Ford saves money by not traveling to buy cars at auction, which means not paying purchase fees, shipping fees, and travel expenses. Now they can just share that saved money with you, their customer, rather than outside vendors. It's a win-win. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as competitors and share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you go anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers. It's only at Wayscar Ford in Auburn, wayscarford.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at MuckleshootCasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I don't need the intro music, Matt. Just let me get to this quickly. While we do have important sound to get to, I need to make a statement here to defend myself against people attacking me, attacking my honor, and attacking my eyeballs. I described the Miami Dolphins uniforms as being a shade of blue. In the blue family. Maybe it's a cousin, maybe a second cousin, maybe one of those things where it's like your cousin's kid and you don't really know what to call them, but like it's blue. And then I searched to prove it to you guys, Miami Dolphins jersey. And what do I see? I would describe it as like neon.
Why are you yelling at us, though?
Because I'm getting real fired up here.
We didn't do nothing.
Yes, you did.
I didn't do nothing. I just told you what it
You
looked
took
like
their
to
side.
me. No,
So
I told you what it looked like to me.
Let me, and I respect your truth, and I receive that. But like,
Do
let
you?
me tell you what happened during the break.
I don't think you do. I don't
let
think
me
you do
tell
at
you what
all.
happened. So during the break, I'm sitting here and I look at the text line, and Mitch in Tacoma says, "Is Stacy colorblind?" Which, first of all, as the only woman on a station of all men, let's not get into battles about who's colorblind.
What is being a woman have to do with being
Statistically, it's the
colorblind?
least likely to be me, if we're being
Show me the
so for
stats.
real. Brock is quite literally colorblind.
That's
and
true.
left-handed. Doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Leave the lefties out of
And
this.
okay, fine.
We're trying to get by.
Anyways, Mitch in Tacoma says, "Is Stacy colorblind? Since when do the Dolphins wear blue?" And I started responding, and I said, "Mitchell." Obviously, I said shades of blue, and then I just deleted all of it, and I just said teal. So then that's what caused me to look at it. So then, but then I said, I look up, and Curtis and Matt are standing next to each other in the control room. The door's open, and I said, "Oh my God, this guy's texting me telling me that teal isn't blue." I said shades of blue. Teal is a shade of blue. Before I look down, and this is why you need to check on your friends and make sure they're your friends. Before I look down, I look at these two. What do, Bump? They exchange a glance. You know when you catch people talking about you, maybe they call you and they didn't mean it's a butt dial and they're talking about you, or maybe you get a text from them that definitely was not meant to be in a group text. It was meant to be on the side. That's what they did. These two looked at each other, and the look of judgment they had, I knew right away that they do this 10 times a day. Like I saw them do that and I was like, this is familiar territory for them. But then Matt looked up the hex code for teal, and I have an announcement to make via Matt. What did you find, Matt?
It is technically a blue leading teal.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been looking around at a bunch of different sites.
This is science.
It's 151 blue,
Tell
152
exactly.
green.
What does that even mean?
That's math. It's what it means.
What does
it
it
means
even mean?
It's
mathematically
like how
I'm correct.
computers analyze color.
It means that
So
I
it's,
have.
it's a little bit more blue than green?
It is technically a little more blue
That
than
may be
green.
how computers analyze it.
No, that's how
but
I see it.
The human eye, the eye test.
Yeah. I clearly got more rods and cones.
This is an analytics versus eye test.
I bet you if you ask, I have a homie who's a Miami fan.
Ask him.
I'm gonna ask him
On air.
What's the colors of your squad?
And just
dog?
say, actually, yeah,
How
don't
would
even.
you? How would?
Just say, what color is the Miami Dolphins jersey? What color is the Miami Dolphins jersey?
But what if he says teal? We have to identify how he
Okay,
views
then say,
teal.
is the Miami Dolphins jersey blue or green?
Well, and we also looked up the Mariner teal, which is also a blue leading green, but they call it Northwest green.
I don't know why you guys are trying to fight me on this.
I'm not fighting. It's just perception is your reality.
Yeah.
My reality is that that's a green jersey.
Bump mostly has my back. You two, I'll never get over the look between you two, knowing that you were fundamentally wrong.
We're gonna stand on business back here. It's green.
I only saved us 3 minutes.
We just murdered this segment.
I'm sorry, but I felt very impassioned.
You know what? Whenever you can speak with passion, I'm all for it.
Thank you. Will you tell me what your friend says?
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Let's revisit what Jim Bowden said. Our friend, Jim Bowden. First, we were asking him, you asked him about Julio, and you made it clear, like, hey, people are kind of split. Like, some people are getting worried that, like, what if he doesn't live up to his potential? Speaking of standing 10 toes down, Jim Bowden pounding the table for Julio.
Sometimes when you pay someone that much money early in their contract and they're not playing for finances for the family, sometimes you don't have the grind, you don't feel the sense of urgency of making the adjustments you need to make. And some guys, there's a reason why the algorithm says your prime years are 25 to 30. There's a reason why that's there. I have complete confidence that J-Rod is going to carry this team in the second half. And Raleigh will be the story in the first half, and J-Rod will be the story in the second half. I'm not worried about him. And that's part of the reason he's on this all-star team, because the rest of baseball and the fans and the media, we understand what his potential is. We just haven't gotten there yet. But he will. He'll get there.
What'd you think of what Jim had to say to us earlier?
First thing is, I love the way it says potential. When people say potential, I like that. I can't get myself to say
it with your heart.
that way. Yeah. So what he's saying is December 29th is his birthday. By the time, so going into next year,
that's when the clock starts.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good is what he says. And there's data. It's hard to argue with data too. I know that because of the timing of his contract and when he was paid and what he did his first couple of years, you would expect him to be further along. But it's hard to argue with data, man. There's a reason why you can't get into the NFL until you're 3 years removed from high school, because you might get lit up. You're not physically ready. And the data's saying in baseball that guys don't really start to hit their stride until they're 25 years of age. So also what he's saying is that Julio accelerated the process and he's having a glitch in the system right now. So to be patient. And Jim knows more ball than me. He knows more of that data than me. So I'm going to lean on Jim and say, all right, well, December 29th, my man's 25.
I had the exact same thought you did when I was listening to him. I was like, look, I have had very open, doubts about Julio at times. Granted, we've been more often than not defending Julio, but both of us have admitted, maybe we need to adjust our expectations of his ceiling. Maybe he's just going to be really good instead of an MVP player. Maybe he's going to be just a great outfielder and inconsistent at the plate. Hearing someone who is a former GM and who's been in front offices and who speaks to a lot of people around the league say, this guy's 24 years old, kind of hammer home that kind of take about why are you writing someone off so early when they have all the potential in the world? This is a between the ears thing, not an ability thing.
Yeah.
It felt reassuring.
And I feel like most people can see that, the ability. You see the ability. It looks different and feels different. It's just different with Julio. I think most of us question what pitch selection, is he seeing it? Those are the things we're not saying, oh, man, he can't hit for power. Oh, he's not good on the bases. He's not good defensively. No one questions those things. It's more of his selection when it comes to swinging at pitches.
I've been noticing something very interesting about the way that people are talking about this Seahawks team. I don't want to call it hypocritical bump. That's a little too aggressive. I will just say that
There's something like it then?
I will say something's a little fishy.
All right.
It's coming up next.
He's the southpaw from down under, Ryan Roland Smith with Wyman and Bob.
What was your reaction to Julio making the All-Star squad?
Julio going to the All-Star game is nothing but great. It's good for his confidence. I would say J.P. Crawford had a bigger case at shortstop than Julio did at center field to make the All-Star game. When you have a leadoff hitter with the on-base that he has, I thought J.P. had a bigger case.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Dave Wyman joined by Dr. Daniel Landis from Swedish Cyberknife. Dr. Landis, when treating prostate cancer, what can patients expect during Cyberknife treatment?
So the Cyberknife treatment's an outpatient procedure. Essentially, it's a 5-day treatment, about 30 minutes per day. You walk in, you walk out, you essentially don't feel anything at all during treatment. Many patients still work full-time while they're having treatment.
That's incredible. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. And skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
The countdown is on.
14 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners fell to the Yankees yesterday, but Cal Raleigh still made history with his 36th home run, the most for any Mariner before the All-Star break, breaking Ken Griffey Jr.'s record. Logan Evans is on the mound today for Game 2 against the Yankees, another 4:05 p.m. start in the Bronx.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Bump, I'm noticing something a little funny, a little interesting about the way that folks are talking about the Seahawks. And keep in mind, I try not to be just like a straight up fan, because you have to kind of keep that level of like, you're still in a press box, you're covering the team, you're talking to players, and you want to be critical, you want to be fair. So I will admit that in ways this sounds like a homer take, and I'm very aware of that. But I also think it's a genuine observation that I find very interesting. I feel as though Seattle's stars that we've considered stars of this team, or the central figures of this team, Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, are almost like more loved now that they're not in Seattle, getting more respect and more, I guess, credit now that they're not in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. And keep in mind, we both would talk about how Geno was underrated as a passer and was playing in a really tough situation behind a bad offensive line. We would both talk about DK Metcalf's potential. We've had a lot of love for Tyler Lockett, who had his most down year since 2017, but that's just as much a part of aging as it is anything else, because he's otherwise been wildly consistent. But I didn't see a lot of like 2024 preseason rankings saying, oh my God, the Seahawks? Yeah, they got Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. They're going to light up the world. Like, I had questions about last year's offense too, and the year before that, and the year before that. And now that Seattle doesn't have those guys, they're getting knocked for not having those guys, even though they never got the benefit of the doubt with them. So, you see what I mean? I'm just kind of like, I'm stuck on that. I can't tell if that's me, the way I'm seeing it, a shallow read on the situation, or if you agree that people are kind of knocking the Seahawks for not only something out of their control, two of these guys wanted to be traded, but for doing something that they weren't getting a lot of credit for in the first place.
Yeah, it does feel that way. It feels like DK Metcalf going to the Steelers magically takes this receiving core just to another level. It makes them better.
Right?
It makes them better.
It does.
And I pointed out yesterday, I compared the two. But it's DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, most of y'all don't know who that is, and Robert Woods. You know who that was, but he's not the guy from 2019, 2020 with the Rams. It's not who he is. But for some reason, DK on that staff makes him better. Whereas you look at JSN went for over 1,000, Cooper Kupp, who gave you 700, more than Robert Woods and Calvin Austin combined last year, and MVS, who gave you 400, what's around Calvin Austin is going to give you. You're looking at that and saying that's a better core. I can argue that at the top, it might be better because you're looking at DK versus JSN and saying, okay, what are you going to do there? But as a core, I'm like, I probably would lean towards the Seattle Seahawks. There is an argument, though. Nothing is definitive. Then you look at Tyler Lockett, and some people are like, why would you let Tyler Lockett go? Because he's like 34, 35, and doesn't want to get tackled anymore. I think he'll do fine with the Titans. He doesn't elevate that receiving core. Then we talk about Geno. Someone got mad at me yesterday for even bringing Geno up. I will bring Geno up because they're like, why are you still talking about Geno? Let him go.
It's relevant.
It's very relevant. You have your own issues with Geno. You sort that out. Good luck to you there too, man. Hope it works out. But Geno, all of a sudden now, he's beloved and you miss him.
Right.
And it's because you don't know what you're going to get out of Sam Darnold. That's the reason why we were rocking with Geno, because we're looking at what else is out there and we're thinking, all right, this is probably as good as it's going to get. And now, me personally, all I'm asking is for Sam Darnold to do what Geno did. If Sam Darnold could just do what Geno did the last couple of years, this team should be a playoff team because I believe in this defense so much. What's that song? You don't know what you got till it's gone? Cinderella, I believe, sang that song, and Janet Jackson had a remix to it too. You just don't know, or you don't appreciate it until it's gone. It's like a breakup. It's like all the things you used to get on your nerves for, and then she's gone, and now you're highlighting all the things that she or he used to do
that's
for
with
you.
Gino right now.
Yeah, that's
like
exactly
we're
what we're doing.
romanticizing him now that
We
he's
are.
with Vegas, going, oh, he might make him a playoff
Exactly.
team, and it's like, wait, is Vegas a better roster than Seattle? What are we
and
talking
you don't
about?
and you don't want them to be better elsewhere either. And I think that comes into play as well. I think that's just natural for humans to do, and unless you fell into a Pat Mahomes or a Malik Neighbors or something like that at the receiver spot. No, it's you're gonna have those mixed emotions because you're always gonna think about what could have been, and you're hoping they don't do better elsewhere.
I think there are 3 factors at play. That's one of them for sure. It's just like human nature and how we typically think about things. The second thing is I do think there's a population of people that go, yeah, and if Gino and DK were here, I'd feel better about Seattle. I wouldn't have them as my first place team, but I'd feel better about them. Like they genuinely go, I'm not saying, that I have more respect for these guys now that they're gone. I just genuinely think you downgraded. Like I think there's a portion of people out there that look at Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp, and the departure of Gino and DK and go, I think you downgraded. Fair take. Fine.
That's fair.
Totally fair.
We'll see.
I also think the third thing, and this is more of a theory, okay? I don't know that Seattle, I mentioned this yesterday, I don't know that they're getting the benefit of the doubt. Like, Seattle did not get the benefit of the doubt when they moved on from Russell Wilson, and they were right. They did not get the benefit of the doubt when they brought in Geno Smith, and they were right. Do I personally right now think Sam Darnold's going to be better than Geno? I don't. Even like I'm doing exactly what I'm saying other people are doing. Seattle's given me no reason to think that they don't know what they're doing for them at quarterback, and yet here I am doubting. I think that's what's happening to other people too. There's no reason. I work here in Seattle. I watch this team. Why would some dude covering the NFL in New York not think the same thing?
Right.
He's going, what are you guys doing? You don't know what you're doing. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why don't they have the benefit of the doubt?
I also think that this situation at quarterback now is better off in the long run than it was with Geno here. Geno's 35 years of age. I really count him as like a 31-year-old because he didn't play a lot of football back in the day. But I also think that you put yourself in a position for the future. I would prefer to have Geno. I've moved past that. Sam's here. I'm going to support him 100%. But when negotiations are going down, I'm hoping they kept Geno. Pay him his $45 million and let's keep this thing rolling. So how have you benefited from Geno not being here? You signed a younger quarterback on a prove-it-to-me type of deal. That second year you have a way out, and you drafted a third-rounder in Jalen Monroe, who people are excited about. The staff is excited about, and you're not rushing them into any situation. In a perfect world, you keep Geno, you pay him his $45, and you get Jalen Monroe, and you're good there. But with Geno, you would have to pay him so much and guarantee him so much that you're going to have to stick with him for at least a couple years, even if there was a fall-off. I don't think Geno's going to fall off. I think that his play might look a bit different in Las Vegas because they don't have a lot of weapons surrounding him. But now he is the bridge transition quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. All I'm asking is for Sam to do similar to what Geno did the last few years. Can he do it? I don't know. I think he can. He has the physical to do it. Will he have the protection? Will he have the play calling? Will the receivers do the thing? There's a lot that needs to happen. Same thing with Geno in Las Vegas. A lot of stuff needs to happen for him to even sniff what he did last year. It's all about how you view the situation, and if you truly think Geno was the better option, I understand your feelings of looking at him over there in that beautiful black and silver. Talk about nice uniforms.
That's up there. That's top 8.
I like that. And you're wondering, the white jerseys especially when they go white with the silver, and hoping like, what's the fall off going to be, or is it going to be some elevation over there? I think it's going to be tougher for Geno than it is for Sam Darnold, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like there's a fair critique and a fair comparison to make. Geno had more familiarity with the system. He's a different kind of passer. Sam Darnold has one great year, but one great year. I get it. Like there's a fair critique underlying all of this, but like going back to the DK comp, I went up and looked at Jeremy Fowler's ESPN rankings of top 10 receivers, including honorable mentions. DK was nowhere to be found. He was in the others receiving votes. It would be like, if you're talking about, well, they have DK, so they've got like maybe the third best receiver group, and then Seattle moves on from DK, and you're going, what are you doing, you idiots? And you're like, you didn't even believe in this guy in the first place.
He drops the ball.
That's what I'm saying.
His routes aren't great.
What are you saying? And there's some talk locally about that too. It's like, but you guys didn't even talk about DK like he was a top 10 receiver. You didn't talk about Geno like he was a top 10 quarterback. But now Seattle's idiots for moving on from them. Like, it's that big, like, why do you care energy? Like, you didn't believe in this offense last year. Why is it drastically different this year? Like, in what way have they taken a huge tumble outside of clearly taking a gamble at quarterback? Clearly, they have the same running back group. They added to the tight end group. They added a guard. And they also brought in an offensive coordinator who's at least been an NFL offensive coordinator before. I expect many question marks for this offense. I do not have the highest hopes. But that hasn't changed from last year.
The same reasons you pointed out why people could believe in this offense is the same reasons why they're not believing in the offense. Because you brought in a rookie. Can he save the day? I don't know. You brought in a coordinator who the numbers don't look great with the New Orleans Saints, but you understand what he's trying to do. You do have the same backfield. People don't believe in Ken Walker and his ability to stay healthy and run the rock the way it should be done. You're really just flipping a coin, man. It's the same reasons to be optimistic is the same reason to worry about what's going to happen over here with Seattle. You've revitalized Nelson from Kent. You talk about Geno, Nelson from Kent is going off right now. I mean, there's a lot.
About Geno. This may be too much, Nelson.
He's going.
Unfortunately, I can't read it.
He's going.
Well, Nelson was a huge fan of Geno and thinks that the Seahawks made a massive mistake.
Nelson wants the Raiders to do better than the Seahawks, which is a take that I cannot get behind that, man.
Unfortunately, we cannot. Our Bump and Stacy show co-signing is not present for this one. Shio Kapadia, Nelson isn't alone. Shio Kapadia said he would feel differently about the Seahawks with DK and Geno still here.
I'll be honest. I looked at this roster and I was like, if they had Geno Smith and DK Metcalf, I wonder what my prediction would be for this team, Mike McDonald, in year 2. Maybe with an offensive coordinator who I felt like had a stronger track record than Clint Kubiak. But the reason I didn't go lower is because I don't like the plan, but I do understand what they were potentially trying to do here. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with their assessments or their evaluations. And I don't think the downside is that low because I think if they have a bad season, it's like they're going to, be back to the drawing board at quarterback, but they're really only locked into Darnold for one season when you look at kind of the guarantees there. So it comes down to, I don't buy that Darnold is going to be the same guy he was in Minnesota. And I don't buy that Clint Kubiak is like some kind of offensive savant who can coach around O-line deficiencies. And it's going to look totally different this year.
Shio Kapadia, that was on the Ringer podcast, is one of my favorite football voices. I think he's so smart. He's also very familiar with the Seahawks. He used to be a beat reporter here for ESPN. The only area where I disagree with him on this one isn't necessarily that Sam Darnold isn't going to be able to repeat what he did last year. I don't really think so either. It's that, the quarterback is the most important thing here. Ultimately, they're betting their offensive line and run game will be better. Geno could be here. If the offensive line didn't take a step forward, it wouldn't matter. And the second is, what were the Seahawks supposed to do?
Yeah, that's the thing. Geno wanted out. DK wanted out. Grubb didn't do what he said he was going to do.
Right.
You had to make those moves. Offensive line, I mean, you can't pick 6 offensive linemen in the draft and hope that everything is better. What they could have done differently is been more aggressive with a veteran offensive lineman during free agency. But all of this was forced upon them. They didn't wake up one morning and say, you know what, cleaning house, man. Grubb, he ran the ball well. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, and we agree with his play calling. We're going to keep him. No, he did the opposite. He didn't say, DK, you know what, he's just not a great route runner, doesn't have hands. Let's get rid of him. No, DK wanted out. That's the part that's missing. Will this make this team better? I hope so. I think there's opportunity to, but nothing's guaranteed. There's only a few things that are guaranteed in the NFL. The Chiefs are going to be in the conference championship. Lamar and Josh are going to have to try to beat Pat Mahomes. And the Cowboys are going to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
They still took more shots. You weren't done. Back from the dead. Your friend's sitting there picking up his phone again. Like, what did I say? What are these strays? I've done nothing.
This is the game. This is the game. You know what also isn't guaranteed? The Commanders are going to be good. Jaden still got to go out and prove it. We've seen it for 1 year.
Yeah.
So we saw one great year for Jaden Daniels. Granted, he is immensely more talented than Sam Darnold, especially running the football. But he's still got to prove it. Sam Darnold has to prove it. Michael Penix has to prove it. Can Caleb bounce back? Detroit, is this it for you? You lost all your coordinators. Can you prove it, bounce back? LA Rams. All right, you added Devontae. Is that defense legit? That is the NFL, is you must prove it year in and year out. And a few things are guaranteed, and the Seahawks are there. If Geno were here, you can almost guarantee that you're going to win 9, 10 games.
Yeah.
Because he's going to do that for you.
Very underrated.
But now he's in Vegas. They're not sniffing the playoffs.
It's very weird how people think. And I really like Pete Carroll. I like Geno going there. I loved watching Ashton Genty. Like, I don't care about what the Raiders do this year. I'm rooting for the best for them in a way that you're like, I want the best for you. I'm not a Raiders fan, and I also don't think that Geno went to a spectacular roster, and Seattle are idiots for letting him walk. I think that I think John Schneider thought, every single year you guys talk about how I have this bridge guy, and I'm never going to have a guy that's going to make or break my team, and I'm in this in-between limbo world where I don't have a top 5 quarterback, and I also still have to pay this guy, and he is very underrated, and he is a hard worker. But, like, what do you want me to do here? Eventually I need to rip the Band-Aid off. I don't want to commit to Geno in 2026. That was really what it came down. I don't want to commit to Geno in 2026, and the Raiders are comfortable doing it. So, great. Go play with Pete Carroll. They'll commit money to you for 2 years. I'm not going to bend there, and if you don't want to be here and play under this season, fine. And then the next best thing was to get the top free agent quarterback available. Is that the ideal world for John Schneider? No. I think John Schneider would love to have Josh Allen under center. I think John Schneider would love to have a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. I think John Schneider, you know what I mean? Like, I think that there are other teams that John Schneider in a dream world would have constructed. I think he's just taking the steps he thinks he needs to do it.
Yeah. This is the hand he was dealt.
So.
And now you got to play.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Bump, you heard an argument on a show this morning. What was it, and where do you stand?
The argument I heard was that it was a debate, and the debate was, look, it's easier. What's easier, catch a pop fly or a punt return or a punt? In like game type situation, right? And I've done both. I did the pop fly in high school, and then obviously return in the NFL. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm on the side of a punt return. And the reason why is because the ball is kicked, you locate the ball. Is it going right? Is it going left? All right, you locate, you try to get behind it. Now my eyes are going up and down. I'm looking at my gunners. Are they blocked? I'm looking at the middle of the field. Are those guys blocked? And before they reach like 15 yards, I have to make a decision whether I'm going to catch this or not. And the fact that you got a stampede running at you affects your confidence when it comes to catching the ball. In baseball, you have a mitt that can assist you. The wind does move the ball. The ball is a nice round shape, so it's easier to feel. People say that, well, in football, you use both hands, but that ball is weirdly shaped. And I've caught end over ends. I caught knuckleballs. And when that nose points down, it gets down, it sneaks up on you. It's just, to me, it's just harder. I think both are difficult. I think the average fan is what we're talking about. Can the average fan do it? No, I think both they're going to struggle with both. But if I had to bet on somebody, an average fan catching either one of those, I'm going to go with the fly ball.
10 times out of 10, I'm putting my money on the average fan catching a fly ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. Again,
it's not easy.
That's the caveat that we're both adding. But yeah, not even close.
Yeah.
I think more often catching a punt knocks people over if they're even able to catch it.
I'm telling you, man, it's to me, it's the hardest thing to do in football is to catch a punt and return that thing. It is tough.
When I saw someone at the Mariners game try to catch it in a lawn chair, I thought, I could do this.
I've seen a guy catch one in a bucket out there. I've seen them because they give them weird things to catch the ball with. And I've seen some success. I've never seen an average person, even JV football, you put guys out there and they're going to struggle. It's harder than it looks. So whenever you see a punt returner back there making it look easy, he's nice with it.
How long, Curtis, a question for you as well. Bump Curtis, how long, hey Matt, how long do you think you could last in a game as an outfielder before the manager was like, we got to pull this guy. What are you doing? Like, how many innings do you think you can go before they were like, are you kidding me? Because I think if you're out there, like, depending on the game, depending on the pitcher, you could just chill in right field maybe for a bit, just quietly.
Right field is low-key is the worst spot at the same time because the slice on that ball, it moves at a different angle. Yeah, it's... I think if I had glasses on, because my eyes are bad now, I'd play a full 9 out out there. I'm just catching. I'm not throwing nobody out at home.
That would be your answer.
I ain't throwing nobody out. I play center field.
Defensive
I play center field. What?
Bump, you're pushing 40.
I'm all over
Okay.
that. I'm getting a jump on all that stuff, man. Y'all gotta have more belief in yourselves.
Curtis, how many innings? And be very honest, because I know Bump is actually being very honest.
Serious.
I know he's
A
dead
big league
serious
inning.
right now.
So I would say probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to shag fly balls at Mariners spring training, and it was a guy who was a non-roster invitee. I forget his name, but he hit one, and I caught it, and my hand was like throbbing.
You were
like
did
I
I
could
break
feel
something?
it. Yeah. So I would say maybe 2 or 3 innings out there.
I think if I never had to catch one, I think I could go a full game.
But what if the ball's at your way, Stacy? Is it an inside the park home run?
No, that's going to be an E9 is what that's going to be. That's going to be
How many cutoff men to get it back into the infield? At least 2?
No,
At least.
no, not even cutoff man. I'm going to throw it and then going to have to run up to where I threw it and pick it up and throw it again.
Remember Sandlot when he's scared to throw it so he rolls it? That's what she's going to do.
It's just
She's
so
going to roll
rude.
it.
The audacity, second down. What have you learned about Sean McVay that changes the way you view him?
I think Sean McVay is a great mind. I think he's a good guy overall, but I saw the way that Jared Goff talked about him being released from the Rams, and it hurt him. My man was like tearing up. He said he was blindsided. There was no, hey, this is what we're doing. These are our plans. We're going to try to ship you around to even prepare him and his family for that move. The more we talked to Cooper Kupp about that one time we did, he didn't want to get into how it all went down, but you can tell he was not excited about it. So I'm just going to go out and assume that Cooper Kupp had the same type of experience. There are 3 monumental players that helped Sean McVay be the guy he is when it comes to his reputation and the success that he's had. It's Aaron Donald, it's Cooper Kupp, and it's Jared Goff. Aaron Donald retired, so he didn't have to have a conversation with him. But when it comes to the other 2, I just feel like those are your guys. You should give them a heads up. We'll find out sooner or later what happened with Cooper Kupp, but I'm going to go out and assume that he handled it the same way he did Jared Goff. So I would hope he learns from that. And next time you got to let one of your dogs go, just have a conversation.
I'm trying not to laugh because people are just sending in like very mean descriptions of my athleticism.
Someone called me Justin Turner.
Yeah. They were like, if Justin could do it, you can do it, Bump. Someone said I would run the ball all the way back to home plate, and that one got me.
They did that in Sandlot too. He ran it all the way up to
That's exactly
to
what
the
I would
pitcher.
do. It was just like, throw it. And
Somebody says, what do you mean, guys? I see Stacy at the local football field kicking punts, running 60 yards downfield, and fielding them every weekend.
Every weekend. Third down. What primetime game, not including the Seahawks, are you anxious to see?
October 13th, week 6, you got the Commanders against the Bears. This could be like the future. I'm so in love with the new young quarterbacks, with Caleb, with Jaden, with Penix, with Bo. I want to see what JJ does. That class, I think, has the potential to be like that next group to lead this team on, because, Josh and them, they're getting old. They're not old, but, in a few years, it's going to look different. But I want to see that game because I think that Caleb has all the tools to have more success this year, and then I want to see if Jaden Daniels can prove it.
Fourth down. Speaking of improving, what's a part of the Seahawks that needs to improve?
We just talked about returning punts, punt return game. You need a guy who, like Brian Walters, you knew Brian was going to catch every punt. I talked to him one time. I said, hey, B, man, isn't the worst feeling muffing a punt? He goes, I've never muffed a punt. I'm like, dang, my bad. My bad, Cornell.
He said,
and B. Walt is low-key one of the best athletes you know. I saw him at pickleball. He's dope. Wiffle ball, I've seen him. He's dope. So I'm sure he's good at baseball.
People like that
he's
are
probably,
so annoying.
He's
They
probably a good
start surfing.
bowler as well.
Right, exactly. Every single thing they do.
Unassuming white guy. You would not expect it. He's like, hey, how you doing?
Sneaky.
All proper and stuff. He will get you
Just
in
a
sports.
gym rat.
This is a gym rat. But yeah, just return game, man. You want to help this offense out, shorten the field, get some good returns. Take one to the house. There's been, 7 kickoff returns, maybe 6 punt returns last year taken to the house. We don't see it often. Get you a sure hander back there, but also somebody who got some juice to him.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy Brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners are on tonight, technically at 4:05 p.m. They look to bounce back against the Yankees this afternoon. Pregame starts at 3 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. Again, first pitch at 4:05. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The voice of your Seattle Mariners, Aaron Goldsmith, is here with us. Aaron, are you running out of things to say about Cal Raleigh?
It is a really fun struggle to have to try to frame his season in the proper context and to try to really present, truly at this point, as you know, historical examples for how one-of-a-kind this season is becoming for Cal Raleigh.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot. Rick Riz here, and it's the final month to submit your nomination for Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Pella's owners are donating $5,000 to 2 local youth sports organizations. Many local teams are in need of new equipment, field improvements, or uniforms. If you know a team who could use funding, nominate them at seattlesports.com/play. Join Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington and help our local youth thrive. Go to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a team in need right now.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Between his hobbies and decades of work in a boatyard, Philip had put his body through a lot.
I'm an avid fly fisherman and an avid skier. It takes its toll.
Not to mention one other thing.
I had a near-fatal motorcycle accident. Absolutely obliterated my lower left leg again.
Philip couldn't live with the pain anymore. So he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
Listening to all these radio spots, I said, what do I got to lose?
What was your experience like with Dr. Wagner?
What I was so impressed with Mark about is that how often you have a surgery like this, and the guy calls you the next day to see how you're doing. I can't say enough good things about the guy, honestly.
And how are you feeling now?
I have no pain, none. Zero.
Wow. So would you recommend stem cell therapy to others?
I'm a fan, believe me. I'd recommend it to anybody.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Earlier in the show, Bump and I were joined by a former MLB executive, obviously a current baseball analyst, Jim Bowden. And we asked him, Jim, if you were in Jerry's shoes, how aggressive would you be at this trade deadline? And then we asked him to talk a little bit about what the Mariners have done. Like, what's the honest assessment of where they are? This is what he said.
One of the things that the Mariners aren't getting enough credit for is the job that Jerry DiPoto and his staff have done in drafting and in player development, and they are loaded. Their farm system is loaded right now. And they're loaded with guys that are going to help them at the big league level, but they're also loaded right now where you can go get whatever you want. That's why I say there's no excuses. Look, if you're trying to acquire a player and right now he doesn't fit your payroll and the owner says, no, you can't do it, then you're going to have to trade another prospect and have that other team eat some money to make it work. You got to get creative. You got to find a way. You know, I've always said when someone says can't, I always say get rid of the T.
He was getting, Jim, real fired up about this team. And it's in part because he was very honest with us, Bump, about the talent that he sees here in Seattle. I mean, he made no bones about it. Like when we asked him, you know, hey, you know, could they be a contender? Are they kind of in between sellers? He was like, pedal to the metal. You are a big bat away from being a contender in this in the American League right now.
There were some people who took that and thought, you know what? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, because his enthusiasm for the organization and their the possibilities, right? According to the text lines, and there were some people who thought this was refreshing because they hear us talk every day, and you get instant reactions from what we're seeing and what we're hearing and all that good stuff. And I think that it's important to hear different voices who aren't biased, because there's always some bias in us, right? We're going to support the team more than we should sometimes, and we're going to be more critical than we should at other times. But to hear a voice who, Jim Bowden, who knows ball, who can talk about any team in their situation, who knows the free agent, not the free agent, the trade deadline situation, knows the contracts, and he's sitting here saying with his tone and his words that there is a sense of urgency that needs to happen right now. There's a sense you guys need to go ahead and get after it. I think that is refreshing, and I think that take that into your thought process when you're breaking this thing down. Doesn't mean you need to be completely on board with what Jim is saying, but it means that if someone from the outside can look at your situation and say, you know what, you got a little better than you think, but the one thing we can agree on is that you need to do something right now. I was, I think Brock this morning said the word patient. And even I was like, oh, Brock, man, you don't want to say that word. You don't want to say the word. I was crossing the bridge. I'm like, oh, Brock, don't say it. And then Mike jumped on and like, nah, forget being patient. You know, I think that's the type of approach that people here are just tired of hearing about. And there's no knock on Brock. That's just the way that he sees it. but patient is not a word or an approach that I would use.
No, patient is kind of how I feel about like maybe Julio in the month of July, like a very short-term view when it comes to patience of like, well, let's see what's here. He's only 24. Patient is not how I feel about the Mariners making the playoffs. It's not how anyone feels. You're absolutely right when it comes to this team. I also appreciated Jim pointing out, look, it is difficult when you don't have the payroll. When the Mariners payroll is half the Yankees payroll. You watch these two teams and you go, oh my God, like double what Seattle's spending, and that's what New York's working with.
Right.
However, while you do lack the payroll flexibility that, let's say, the top 5 teams in baseball have, you have one of the best farm systems.
Right.
So you would be doing yourself a disservice if you thought, oh, I just don't have the weapons to do that. Well, wait a minute. You do have what other teams don't. If the Mariners went out there, and this is what, for that matter, Jordan Shusterman was telling us, if the Mariners went out there and in a hypothetical trade for Ronald Acuna Jr., and a hypothetical trade for Bregman, for whoever else, most of the time they'd be able to offer the best prospect group. Like, think about that. Think about that power. Think about, and it's really difficult. I don't envy the job they're going to have to do here finding sellers, but like, think about being able to, almost without failure, match or surpass what any other team is going to offer prospect-wise.
Yeah.
That is a plus. That's a weapon. So,
That's that money in the bank. Showed it what you drank right there.
Exactly.
That's that. Hey, don't worry. Order what you want. Because I got some prospects and I got an arm. If you really want to make a deal, you can. Even though we know that or feel that Acuna is going to be off the table. No one's expecting that. That's just a dream. But you have assets, and that's one of the things that can help you in negotiations. Obviously, are assets. So what do you do with those assets now? Again, I'm going to give them props because when you think about the Mariners, you think of an organization that doesn't make the big move. Off-season, no, they don't make the big move because guys want to come here. You got to be free agents. But last year, you went and got Randy. You got JT. You got an arm, too. Who's the arm that they got at the trade deadline?
Was it Sand? No.
Curtis, remember the arm they got last year's trade deadline?
Oh, Jimmy Garcia.
Yes.
Jimmy Garcia, yeah. I'm like, they made some moves, some big moves. So can you do it again is the question. We shall see.
Let's revisit. I mentioned that Jim Bowden cut of him being like, you cannot be halfway. Here's that.
I'm not 50-50. I'm 100% pedal to the metal.
Great.
And I want to take advantage of this window that has the starting pitching and the closer that can run the table in October. And 2 years ago, I sat there covering the World Series watching 2 wild card teams, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers in the World Series as the Rangers won the World Championship. And I look at the Seattle Mariners and I say to myself, go get one big bat, get to the playoffs as a wild card team, which I think they will, and then you can run the table. If you make a trade for Josh Naylor and you put Josh Naylor at first base in this lineup and put him in between J-Rod and Cal Raleigh in this lineup, you're going to score enough runs and get there and let this pitching staff do their thing.
Will the Diamondbacks actually move either Naylor or Suarez? I don't know. Who knows? But could you make it tempting?
Yeah, you could.
Could you push him to the edge?
You could. Only thing stopping you, or one of the things stopping you from Suarez, he was like, I don't want to leave. I like it in Arizona. How much that affects what the organization wants to do, who knows? Hopefully they look at it strictly business and say, yeah, we love you too.
So sorry.
But, pack your bags, just get ready to move. But you have enough. That's the thing, is that you have enough to make a solid offer. And if someone just doesn't accept it, they don't accept it. The hard part about that is we're not going to know what offer they made or if they made an offer at all when it comes to these guys. They don't come out and say, hey, man, we tried, but it just didn't work out. Who knows? But you have enough to where it's not going to be disrespectful for you to hit up the Diamondbacks and be like, hey, man, we got something for you.
Well, and like a genuine question. I'm asking this sincerely. It's not like a gotcha moment for listeners who maybe disagree with trading a lot of prospects. Why would you not want to win now? I don't mean to disrespect Cal Raleigh. I don't know if Cal Raleigh's hitting 65 home runs next year. I don't mean to disrespect this pitching staff, but he's not. I don't mean to disrespect the pitching staff, but it may not be this exact group together 3 years from now when you're seeing some of these guys from Everett start to bloom and blossom and maybe get into a second year or first year in the league. Why would you not want to win now? And if it's just, oh, well, because I really like these guys and they could be really good, there's pieces you have right now you also need to pay attention to. You don't get perfect carryover.
Right.
You're going to have to sacrifice some of what you have now, either by virtue of them signing contracts elsewhere, arbitration issues, someone not being as healthy. You know what I mean? That's where I'm stumped.
Yeah.
Like, why not try to win now? You're not going to give up the entire farm. You've also shown your front office that they can build up a pretty good farm system. They're actually really good at doing that.
Death and taxes.
Inevitable.
Only thing is guaranteed.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
This summer, the Mariners take over Atlanta with the All-Star Fantastic Four.
Holy smokes!
Andres.
99 crackles over the corner. Ryan Wu has retired 13 Yankees in a row.
Julio
Rodriguez dives and he makes the catch.
And Cal.
Number 34 for the big jumpers.
Congratulations to the Mariners All-Star Four. From the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us.
We get notifications every time we get a review. And I said, how do you not let it eat you up? Sometimes I feel so responsible. And his answer was, I just look at it as an opportunity. We need that feedback to learn and to do better. I'm grateful for the feedback.
Big part of sales is the relationship aspect. People want to do business with someone they can trust, who's a real person. They don't feel like you're just going after their money. And when you take the time to get to know them, get to know their needs, not be a car salesman, but be a consultant, then they feel more comfortable with you, and just the experience is better on both sides.
It's not about closing deals. It's about opening relationships, helping people make the right choice. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Dave Wyman joined by a very special guest, Dr. Daniel Landis. He's on the Swedish CyberKnife team treating prostate cancer and accepting new patients. Dr. Landis, what could patients expect during CyberKnife treatment?
So the CyberKnife treatment's an outpatient procedure. Essentially, it's a 5-day treatment, about 30 minutes per day. You walk in, you walk out. You essentially don't feel anything at all during treatment. Many patients still work full-time while they're having treatment.
That's incredible. Where are your patients from?
We see patients from all over, patients from out of state, Alaska, Idaho, from all over the world, honestly, since it's such a short treatment.
How can someone get a hold of you?
Yeah, I would encourage patients to reach out to us directly. We'd be happy to schedule a consultation.
Thank you, Dr. Landis and the team at Swedish CyberKnife for the wonderful work they do. And remember, you don't need a physician's referral. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. That's swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in now. Any question. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Let's see. Best bad guy. They said to play in a movie or video game. I will also, though it's not their original question, offer best bad guy in a movie or video game. So just
Heath Ledger, Joker.
I I saw a tweet that Gen Zs don't like the Batman, Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy as much.
I don't care about them. They're idiots.
We're so disturbed.
No. Get those guys.
Yeah. It's just something interesting where I was like, why? They're such good movies. Can't ruin these for me.
You know, side note, just because the text line said Love Island. Who's with me on Love Island Resistance? I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to get a base from you and live that way.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting down to the final 4 couples after tonight's elimination.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just, how do you keep up with it 5 nights a week? What, 6 nights a week?
It's
5?
It's 5, and then they have After Sun, so it's technically 6, but it's really 5 new actual episodes a week.
The Mariners sometimes only play 5 nights a week.
No, I know. I put Love Island on my TV, and I put the Mariners on the tablet, and if the Mariners start getting blown out or start running away with it, we go to Love Island. It's Love Island time. We're back in the villa. We got to see what's going on with these kids. With these kiddos. Okay. 866-979-3. Matt, did you have an answer for best movie villain or video game villain?
It's so boring, but it's Darth Vader.
Okay.
I mean,
that's a fair
Darth
answer.
Vader,
classic. Classic.
866-979-3776. Speaking of the color teal, is Teal Tuesday still a thing for you guys, or did you scrap it?
You scrapped it. Nah, you scrapped it.
Bump and Curtis
You created the
so
day
much.
and then scrapped it.
It has just become a day where Bump and Curtis match is what it has become.
I missed the last one.
But still, you guys every Tuesday still wear teal.
For the most part, I'm batting like 900.
Teal Tuesday has become just dudes wearing teal. In honor of
the day that you created. And then you didn't want to put in effort.
I forget why I did that because I hate teal.
Because we all wore teal one day.
I don't own any teal.
Yeah, you do.
I had to buy
a quarter zip.
Yeah, I had to buy that quarter zip, which I lost in the move. I don't know where it is. And I
don't think you
not
lost
buying
it. I
more
think
teal.
you put it in the garbage can.
Probably. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. What would Cal and Julio think about competing against each other in a derby? Is it a good thing, or would something like that cause resentment?
No, it's a good thing.
That'd
They
be
don't
cool.
care.
Yeah.
They want to go at it. They support each other and then want to murder each other at the same time.
I think professional athletes are deeply competitive and see those things as just fun. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. I have a relative who acts like he knows and gets everything. Yet I end up catching him in areas where he actually lacks knowledge or understanding of things, especially euphemisms. Would you continue to mess with him and poke the bear, or just let it go and do something else?
Not worth my time. You
Yeah.
right. You got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Just gotta let him go.
Yeah.
866-979-3776. What I need to know. What's the best player nickname Bump has played with? If not a player, maybe like a staff member that had a great nickname.
The Ghost. Jerome Harrison.
That's a great nickname.
The Ghost. He's only like 5'5". He was a running back. And you legit could not see him. He was so dang shifty. Owned the single game record for rushing yards in the NFL for a few seasons too.
How many more home runs would Cal have if he played in that little league ballpark the Yankees play in?
1 million.
1 million home runs.
At least 10 more.
Is the teal color on the Dolphins similar to that of the Kraken? That's a great question.
It's not.
No. I would say the Kraken, I would describe it as almost like a baby, a neon baby blue.
I see the blue.
Yeah.
With the Kraken, I see the blue.
I think it's much more obvious with the Kraken.
Yeah.
I would not describe it as green at all.
Nah, that's blue for sure.
Yeah. That's more like it's like the Panthers kind of blue.
Panthers is teal? That's
No,
baby
they're
blue,
blue.
ain't it?
Yeah, but I'm saying like a blue that's almost like
close
an
to that.
electric blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
866-979-3776. There was some stat in 2021 or 22, says a listener, about when the Mariners wore the Northwest green, they actually won more. Does it seem like they're wearing it less? And should they start wearing it more?
I believe they have had very little success in the Northwest Greens this year.
Burn them.
Bring the gray back.
But they only wear them on the road now. You don't see them at home anymore. Because they do City Connects Thursdays and Fridays at home now.
Bit much.
Yeah.
Will the results of the Yankees and Detroit series determine how the Mariners work the trade deadline?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I do.
I think.
I mean, if they're still in
there
third
they are.
place in the wild card, they should be better.
So you see it as no matter what happens, they should be aggressive.
Yeah, they're
okay.
they could win the rest of these, doesn't change anything. Lose the rest of these, doesn't change anything.
I guess I just, in my gut, I'm like, I mean, having momentum could sway things, but maybe not. Maybe you're right. And it's just, they've already in the front office made up their mind. And another 5 games isn't going to drastically sway it. In my mind, it's important. And for the purposes of content, I'm going to stay with it. Someone said, 866-979-3776. Why do you read the phone number before every what I want to know? It's what I need to know. And it's because repetition's important so you remember what it's called.
Exactly.
Right. We want you to remember this.
Pickleball, yes or no?
Yes, I'm a big fan. Became a big fan
Yeah.
a couple weekends ago.
Also, sometimes I read it out because I'm looking at them in real time and I'm making sure that they're radio appropriate before I read them. What's the scariest movie you've ever seen? I already have my answer.
I'm not a big scary movie guy. I don't know. What's your answer?
It's to this day not the scariest, but The Ring messed with me for years. Like I was legitimately afraid of seeing static on TV.
I just figured mine out. It's Candyman. That scared the heck out of me back in the day. Whoo, that was scary.
Like in hindsight, there are, what's the one with Toni Collette? Is it Toni Collette? Hereditary?
Hereditary.
That one's
So
terrifying, but it's terrifying in a way that's just deeply unsettling. Not like because I was young when I watched those. So when you watch those movies young and they stick with you and you're like, why am I an adult still kind of scared of this? What I need to know. Thoughts on this? Oh, do you watch Reacher on Prime? I don't either. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm sorry that we can't help with that one. I've heard really good things. Other than this year's rookies, J-Rod and Cal, what other position players came up through the farm? He's been here 8 or 9 years now. Oh, I think they're quizzing us maybe. So what other position players came up through the farm? Like originally drafted or just came up like you got them as prospects?
On the roster right now, like in your starting lineup?
Yeah, like you
I
didn't
think
draft JP, but he was in your farm system.
I mean, Ben Williamson.
Cole Young.
Cole Young, yeah.
J-Rod, Cal.
Is there a major one I'm missing that like shame on me for not knowing?
Canzon, he didn't come up in he wasn't drafted.
No, he
by
was
him.
the Seawald trade.
All right, you guys, that will do it for us today. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
He's the southpaw from down under. Ryan Roland Smith with Wyman and Bob.
What was your reaction to Julio making the All-Star squad?
Julio going to the All-Star game is nothing but great. It's good for his confidence. I would say J.P. Crawford had a bigger case at shortstop than Julio did at center field to make the All-Star game. When you have a leadoff hitter with the on-base that he has, I thought J.P. had a bigger case.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. When you hear Harley Exteriors, think windows manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help you with your home's resale value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. In July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your entire project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This summer, the perfect night out is under the stars at LeMay, America's Car Museum drive-in movies. Enjoy classic films and make memories. Catch the Transformers on July 27th. Space is limited. Reserve now at americascarmuseum.org.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Riverside Roofing has earned GAF Master Elite President's Club certification, which puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers nationally. They're right here out of Marysville. You can find them at riversideroofingllc.com, and they are the roofing company you can trust.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account.